Yo, people always ask me what kind of frames I'm rocking. I've been rocking Caddis for a couple years. They make amazing progressive readers, which I wear. Also, they make sunglass readers, anti-glare, anti-smudge coating, anti-scratch, and anti-aging. That's why I look mad young when I wear them. I'm just kidding. But they make amazing frames. Caddis, so stoked to have you guys part of the podcast. You can go to caddislife.com/Toby10 and get $10 off your first purchase. Stoked. Thank you, Caddis. Welcome to the fam. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. They have now blessed me with my own code. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst, stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives. Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. To the right of me, I have my brother from another mother once again blessing me, Mr. Derrick Green. Thank you for being here, Derrick. Okay, welcome to the podcast, Miss Chef. I'm going to say chef first, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Tara Punzone. 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 I said Punzone.
You got to use your hands.
Or Punzone. Punzone is what they call you, right? That's another word. Anyway,
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Say it correctly again for me, please.
Well, it's pronounced Punzone
Punzone.
correctly, but
Yeah.
Punzone is
The Americans
Punzone.
just,
is the more
bastardize your
common.
name.
Yeah.
I like Punzone. Punzone. I don't know why I do my hands like
They're
that.
like Punzone.
Thank you so much. You are our first vegan chef. You are our first vegan restaurant owner on the podcast.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm so
Applause.
honored.
Slow clap.
I realize now that most people in restaurants really don't talk that much, or chefs, they like keep, I don't know, I just feel like,
They're working in the kitchen.
is there a podcast for like, yeah, that's true.
They're hands on, you know.
Yeah. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to have been invited.
We're gonna get your history, Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn.
Yes. Brooklyn, New York. That's where you're
I think
born,
I'm just going to
correct?
giggle my way through this whole
That's
thing.
fine.
It's all right. People love giggles.
So you were born in Brooklyn. You're a New York native.
I am a New York native. Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
I was born in Brooklyn, but we did
Where in
move.
Brooklyn?
We did move to Long Island to go to. I went to school in Long Island
Strong
because
Island.
we were in a questionable neighborhood.
Okay.
Okay.
And so mom and dad wanted me to get a good education in Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay.
Oh my God, Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay, Long Island.
Oyster Bay, Long Island.
But
And
in
then
Where the hell is that? How far out is
I
that?
don't even know, man.
it's do you know, let's see what's right there. Do you know where Glen Cove is?
I heard of that.
Sounds
It's like
familiar.
5 minutes from there. It's like it's about a 40-minute drive to Manhattan.
Okay.
Okay.
So like North Shore, Nassau County,
Okay.
Where in Brooklyn? Where exactly?
East Flatbush,
East Flatbush.
Which is so different now.
which is completely different from when I was a kid. Yes.
Have you been back there recently?
I haven't been really back to East Flatbush per se, but because I lived in Bushwick for a long, long time,
Yeah.
which is also nearly unrecognizable at this point.
I
Yeah.
just have to explain to the listeners that are not familiar with suburbs of New York. What was
Yeah.
Mm.
like?
Well, Bushwick used to be a really cool kind of dodgy neighborhood with questionable things going on a daily basis. But it is right next to Williamsburg, which also used to be a very questionable neighborhood.
Totally.
And I was not allowed to go there, which of course meant I went there nearly every day.
Rebel.
Because all the cool stuff was there, all the
Yeah.
weirdo bars and all the, artists and
Totally. Is that near Dumbo, New York?
that's
That's part of Brooklyn, wasn't it? By that.
that's
too?
part of Brooklyn,
Okay,
but
okay.
but Williamsburg is north of there.
Okay.
Yeah. And Williamsburg just became the most popular place, I think, in the entire country for every young person who wants to be hip to live.
Yeah.
He's got money.
And then it took time, but it just bled out into other neighborhoods next to it. And so Bushwick is now,
So Williamsburg was like the jump off point of people.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And now it's got like an Apple store and a Whole Foods, and
Wow.
it's weird.
It is
And all the
crazy.
cool stuff that used to be there is not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I know we sound so old when we say that, but that's just
I
how
sound
life
so
is. Like,
old. I hate
It was
that.
quick.
like going back to New York, like St. Mark's, where Coney Island was, it's the Chipotle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh my
Wow,
god.
really?
yeah, St. Mark's is so different.
We can
It's
walk
so
down memory
different.
lane.
I just went home a couple weeks ago, which was a very strange experience. It was a quick one, but I was like, oh, let me walk down St. Mark's just for for old time's sake.
Yeah.
Phew. I was just like, what happened?
Yeah.
It's like you're in another place. I mean, it's not even the same place
I
at
know,
all. It's so
man.
bizarre.
I'm so curious. I've heard this.
But the
and I wanna
interesting
see
thing
it.
was I was looking for a restaurant. So on my way, I went down St. Mark's and I just was telling my friend like how, when I was really, really young, my mom used to take me, everywhere cool. My mom was like the cool mom.
Yeah.
She used to take me to Trash and Vaudeville. We would go to Angelica's Kitchen and then we would walk down to St. Mark's and we would go to Trash and Vaudeville and she would always buy me something. I was like a little goth girl, And
Yeah, it's like OG, like people listen like Doc Martens punk rock kind of
Yeah.
store.
yeah,
like
but like
everything.
before Hot Topic.
Like, sure.
Not
sure.
not to age myself.
No,
but-
for sure.
And
And there's only
anyways,
one in the city, right? One
it
trash-
was just one Trash
Yeah.
and Vaudeville,
Yeah.
upstairs, downstairs, and so it's gone because everything on St. Mark's is gone. But
yeah.
I walked a few blocks down and I had no idea. I was like, "What is that?" It's Trash and Vaudeville on a different block, and it's upstairs, downstairs. It's like
Oh wow, it's moving.
it's like
Really?
it's like I went into another dimension. Like I was in like
Wow.
the Bizarro world or something.
I was just going to use that as a reference. Like Bizarro World.
And it's exactly the same.
Wow.
The upstairs, downstairs, it smells the same. It has all the same stuff from when I was 12. I mean, it's like,
It's cool.
it was so nostalgic. I almost welled up. I called my mom. I was like,
wow.
I had
Wow.
no idea that
I had no
exists.
idea.
never
I thought it
moved
was
either,
just
no.
gone.
Me too.
So
And I
that-
don't know his name, but the guy that worked, he passed away. He was so sweet. I forget his-
Jimmy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw so many people posting about him. He was always so much full
He
of
was
life and
always
energy.
there. He was so amazing. I mean, even my mom, when he died, was like, "Oh my God, Jimmy!" And I'm like,
Yeah.
like he was just that guy.
Super positive, a lot of great energy, like Iggy Pop vibes. Like,
Totally.
yeah. So New York's definitely different. So growing up in Brooklyn, you have siblings too?
I have a brother,
Older or younger?
much older.
Much older.
Get the much in.
Wow.
Because he's going to listen and it's just a little.
Much older. And so how was growing up in Brooklyn? How was that for
Well,
you?
so I didn't really grow up. So I lived in Brooklyn until I was like 6.
Okay.
And then we moved to Long Island to Oyster Bay to
Yeah,
go
that's
to.
right,
So I went to
that's
school in Oyster Bay. And then when I was 17, I actually moved to Manhattan
Oh, shit.
for 3 years. And then I moved to Rome.
Roma.
And then I moved to Bushwick.
So you're
Wow.
Yeah.
second generation? First generation?
Third.
Italiano? Third generation
Yeah, third.
Italiano.
Yeah.
Italiano.
But I wanted to live in Rome for a lot of reasons. But it was the most incredible experience. I probably never would have come home if I could have.
You were
worked.
already speaking Italian at
I
home?
speak very poor Italian.
Okay, so you went there and you were like, okay,
Yeah, I went there just winging it, basically, like I do most things.
And how old were you?
Oh my God, how old was I? 20 something.
And just by yourself you went out there? You had friends?
Yeah,
or
but I have family there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went just for the experience. I wanted to like really get the feel of the food and the culture in like a real way, not in like the New York way,
Right.
not to make any cracks on New York.
Yeah.
But I wanted to I knew I wanted to open this restaurant one day, but I didn't want it to be, I wanted full authenticity. So the only
Love
way
that.
that you can do that is to like
early on, you
be
already
there.
knew.
Oh, I told my dad when I was 12
Wow.
that I was going to open a vegan Italian restaurant, and he was like, "Sure you are, honey."
He's like, you're crazy.
He's like, "You can do anything you want if you put your mind to it, darling."
So we'll rewind for 1 second because you went vegan like 11, 12 years old, right?
Yeah, I turned vegetarian when I was 10
And that was by your choice? Just
by my choice. Yeah.
Wow.
It took me a few years to figure out the vegan part.
Anything spark it?
I
I
was-
was going to ask that.
So when I was a little kid, I was a little shit. My mother used to say, "You're a little shit," you know that.
Wow.
So I was like that kid that would like hold up the meat to the light and be like, "But Ma, you can see the veins in it. How can you eat that?" And my family would just be like, what's wrong with you? Why are you holding the meat up to the light, first of all? And I'm like, wait, because I want you to see what I see. Like, it's like flesh. It's so gross. Like, I don't understand.
Wow.
But I didn't really, and I was a huge animal lover. So I never ate things that were like on a bone or anything that was obvious.
Yeah.
But I really, you know, when you're a kid, I mean, you don't put together how it happens, the
Yeah, you
process
don't.
that goes from like
a lot of times
a living, breathing, warm
explaining
animal,
it to you,
yeah,
you know.
laying by your side like your pup is right
Exactly.
now, until all of a sudden there's this like thing on your plate that's totally doesn't look anything like what it is.
Yes.
And so you just disassociate everything that you're eating with reality, basically.
Totally.
And then in 5th grade, I had a teacher who showed the class a video of a slaughterhouse,
Wow.
which I think is the coolest thing ever. She'd probably be fired if she did that today. But
Yeah, she would
Incredible.
probably be fired.
yeah, she was a wacko. She had a bottle of Absolute in the science lab at all times. But
Shout out to her though. That's fucking amazing.
Through the day.
I'm sure she's no longer with us because she was very old back then. But she changed my life.
That's fucking amazing.
So I went home and, you know, sat my parents down and said, I don't want to have anything to do with this. I'm totally, you know, feel very strongly about it. And
Were they okay with that?
they were like, what planet are you from?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But also, they're really, really supportive people.
Yeah.
So they wanted to support my decision. And I'm sure, and they've said it to me, that they thought it was only going to be like a week or two of my life because I was like a little kid, you know?
Yeah.
And food was really important.
Really
in
important.
your family, right?
Everything revolves around food. Everyone in my family cooks. My my grandfather owned a sandwich shop in Brooklyn, and it was wildly popular, like to the point where he had to hire security. And I think that's part of why I always wanted to do this, because I kind of like thought my grandfather was just the coolest guy on earth.
Right.
It's cool.
That he had to like
Yeah.
hire a guy whose like pinky finger was as thick as my thigh to like make sure that
Gangster shit. Holy shit.
so I always thought he was really cool, and I wanted to be like my grandpa.
Did you start cooking early too at a young age, learning how to cook?
Well, so my parents, in order to support me, they were like, we don't know really what that means, but we want to support you, so you have to be in the kitchen with us. And then that's when I started getting into cooking and learning about food and
Yeah.
you know, just copying what they're doing,
Being
helping
version-
them with
yeah.
little things, you know, very basic stuff, but it was really fun to spend time with them in the kitchen. And there's something that happens in a kitchen that it's hard to explain. Like unless you cook with people alongside you, there's this, I don't know, there's this energy that
Yeah.
happens that doesn't happen anyplace else. And it's like the coolest thing.
Totally. Magic.
So I just loved being in the kitchen with my parents, and then I just never left.
Yeah. And so they were being open-minded and trying the different foods you were making, and like,
Yeah.
they were supportive of it.
And my mom my mom in the beginning, she really did most of the, you know, figuring out. I mean,
Yeah.
she was like, she really wanted to make sure I was eating well to some degree and not just
Yeah.
eating, you know, pasta with sauce and like no vegetables and no protein.
Yeah.
Was your father cooking as well?
My father's an amazing cook. Yeah.
Okay, so both of them were.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have slightly different styles, but yeah, they're both amazing cooks.
Were they tripping on, like the protein? Where do you get your protein from? All this.
I mean, not really. They're
Okay.
they're not like that conscious of that those kinds of things, but I guess in their head it's like, you know, like anybody, like, well, if you don't eat meat, then you have to eat something that's
Totally.
like, you know, equivalent in some way.
Yeah.
Not that they ever said protein. They never said that word.
Yeah.
But
That's such an amazing commitment to make it at such a young age.
Yeah.
So cool.
yeah, I mean, I just, you know, it was hard in the sense that there was judgment
I'm sure.
that came along with it.
From friends or schoolmates or
From friends, but mainly like just shit that ooh, can I curse?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fuck
Just
yeah.
just shit.
Hey, come on now.
We want you to curse.
keep it
Go
clean.
ahead. Let
Let's
it
keep
out.
it clean.
My mom had to deal with, like, you know, my parents, like somebody's mom would call my mom and be like, your daughter has an eating disorder. And she'd be like, no, she doesn't. She eats before she goes to your house because she doesn't expect you to have anything that she can eat. So like there was this misconception that like I never ate and that, you know, I had some kind of a disorder or that I was just a general weirdo, which might have been true, but
We all are.
so there was, it was difficult in that regard, but like I never found it difficult because in my core of my being, I didn't want to eat it. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like I was missing something,
Totally.
you know? And then it was hard because by the time I was like 12 or 13 and then I was like really had read all the literature and done all the homework, you know, I had my parents spoiled me when I was a kid. I had my leather motorcycle jacket. Now I have my pleather motorcycle jacket. I haven't changed very much, but and my Doc Martens, and I started to like give stuff away
Yeah.
because it was all leather, and I didn't want to be a hypocrite, you know, because I'm
Love
like
that.
now I'm like saying these big things, and then you can't have some kid go, yeah, but you're wearing leather.
100%.
So I started
Happened
giving
to me.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And then my mother's like, we spent all this money, and I'm like, well, now I'm going to be very cheap because
Yeah.
everything you're going to buy me is going to be plastic
No, I
from
got a
now.
cheap kid.
I don't want anything designer or expensive. So,
Will you make your own lunches going to school? Because I know the vegan options at school are trash.
well, my mom always. I never ate lunch
Okay.
Well, I ate in the cafeteria, but I
Good
never
for
ate
you.
cafeteria food. My mom,
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
totally spoiled when it comes to food.
Yeah.
Totally from day one.
Yeah.
She would make me soup and my thermos, my Smurf thermos.
Smurf.
I had a Snoopy thermos.
I had Snoopy too. I love Snoopy. I still love Snoopy and the Smurfs. But yeah, she would make me food. So then it just changed. What she was making me just
Yeah.
changed, you know.
Yeah.
So
And so you're in school. You're only fucking 12 years old. Now you're like vegetarian. And how long after you become vegan?
it took a couple years. By the
couple
time I
years,
was
yeah.
like 12 or 13, I was full
Damn,
on.
it's still young though, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And
I
you
mean,
did-
there were mistakes made. There were
course.
things that I didn't
Right.
realize. Like I used to eat peanut butter and fluff sandwiches.
Ooh, I love that shit.
And then somebody was kind enough to point out to me that fluff contained
Milk or
something,
Gelatin or
gel-
something? Yeah, yeah.
Right.
or egg whites or something
Right.
gross. And I was
Sure,
like,
egg whites,
holy
yeah.
crap, now I got to read it.
it's hard, man. I know, but it's hard to be perfect a human, let alone a vegan. you
Yeah.
know? Were you hard on yourself? Were you pretty strict?
Yeah, very hard on myself. So then I started reading every label of every single thing, and then
Damn.
my mom to this day, she obviously does not food shop for me, but she'll go into a grocery store and she will read the label of every, even though she doesn't need to. She's just,
Wow.
it's habit. She's just like, oh, that's vegan. Oh, she could have that, and then it's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
She's just like
That's
trained.
awesome. I love finding things that were like vegan by default. Like they weren't supposed to, like Nutty Butters.
Or Oreos.
Nutty Butters,
now.
yeah.
Oreos, I guess.
Yeah, they were.
Now-
yeah.
now
Now
they
they
are,
are,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I never mess with that.
I don't fuck
back
with
in the
that
day.
shit.
Me
because
either, but
I
there
can't
was
even.
back
If I
then.
eat one Oreo, I'm eating the whole box.
It's
I
a
have.
wrap.
There's no way.
I got
yeah.
a sweet tooth too.
Yeah.
So you're just like a normal kid that was vegan and a teenager. You have friends that became that way too because of you?
No, I got totally made fun of.
Damn.
Why do you think that
But I
is?
stood my ground.
So different back then, I guess.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
just nobody was really.
But why would they come at you for doing something that's really helpful for the planet, animals, and yourself? Like, why would they be angry?
That's an amazing question that we could still ask a lot of people today.
100%.
And I don't know the answer to that other than I think maybe it's a bit of defensiveness because when people see you making a choice that they think they would never be able to accomplish, they just put it down instead of saying, wow, that's amazing that you have the
Facts.
ability to do that. You know, like I don't know if I could do, would be really difficult for me. Instead of thinking
Yeah.
it like that, they're just like, oh, that's so stupid. Why would you do that? You know, the animal's already dead. I love that one. That's such a great, it's a good reason to eat meat. The animal's already dead.
But even like, I mean, you're a lot younger than we are. So when she says back then, it's not as crazy back then, I guess, as for us. But people never put those two and two together, especially back then about what you eat affects the planet. Nobody was thinking like that like they are now, I think.
I think.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. it
No,
wasn't
definitely
like
nobody
that.
was
No.
thinking that, including me.
Right.
I
Yeah.
did not make that decision because I cared about the planet.
Of course.
I just liked animals a lot.
100%, yeah.
And it turns out that the effects of it are that it's
Yeah.
good, better for the planet, and it's also
Yeah.
better for us and our health and our bodies.
Yeah.
But that had nothing to do with why I did it. I just couldn't imagine eating an animal. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I always ask that to a lot of people. I thought it was just something that I might have been going through. Like when I decided to become vegan or vegetarian, that this aggression that was being cast on me from people that was like really weird. I thought, I was like, why you care so much about,
Yeah.
like getting so angry about it? And it's like, I'm not pushing it. I mean, you weren't pushing it on other people.
I wasn't pushing it on anybody.
Right.
But if you asked me a question, I would give you a clear answer. And I think that's it could be intimidating, to other people who can't imagine
Just truth.
Truth.
The reality of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that video was shown to you by a teacher in school was incredible. I feel like there's so many documentaries out now. What the health? There's just so many that I think could really help the world, not just help the animals. You know what I mean? Open people's eyes if they show those in
definitely.
schools.
That's very, very true.
I mean, she must have been a vegetarian herself.
Yeah, badass.
And I'm sure she did not ask permission to show that video because it was violent. I mean, it was brutal, and we were 10.
Right.
Yeah.
And it made a huge impact. I wonder if it made an impact on anybody else. I mean, not that I know of, but it's not like I was so tight with everybody else in that class that I know.
But the industry
I'm sure there's
is
somebody
so
else
powerful of not showing that side.
I know.
It's like, and so they really bombard everyone around us, especially in the U.S., with tons of enticing commercials that make you get off of that. Where did that come from? It's
right.
Like, I don't even care.
But it's an illusion because these animals are, sentient, loving, warm, caring mothers with children.
And we learn so much from animals, we've always have. I mean, as human beings,
right?
Yeah.
Like we've learned most of everything that we know about this planet and the connection. I think that's something early on that humans have always had, and a lot of times we've lost that because that disconnect with animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's something where it's not, people aren't as closed-minded as maybe we think they are, but I think people are like, they're used to like the norm. This is the norm. You have to have that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the 5 food groups in your food, like the milk and the dairy. All, you know what I'm saying? So that's so weird. That's so different. But then if you really think about it, it's like, these animals don't die happy. They die in pain, screaming in pain. And then you put that energy into your body.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that affects your body. I don't know. It's just...
I definitely think that fear and that energy transfers from them into you when you take that bite. I mean,
stress,
it goes
hormones, all that shit.
It's I don't want any of that. But again, that's not why. I mean, for me, it's just I just love animals, so I'm just like I can't
eat them.
Why? I mean, when you have the options, it's not like I understand the argument. Like, well, back in the day. ...
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
But it's not back in the day.
Right.
It's not, dude.
And it wasn't back in the day, even though now it is back in the day. In 1990, it wasn't back in the day. It was like we had enough money that we could buy fruit and vegetables and beans and
falafels.
And lots of falafels.
Lots of falafel.
Yo, that was the shit back then, though. The protein.
Oh my God! When I traveled around Europe, I literally ate falafel for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like in Germany and those countries
protein,
that they had nothing
falafel.
Else for me to eat at all. Now, though,
Jim says 1990, right?
To do it
Damn,
over
we were
again.
in the streets, bro.
I was already like.
I was working at
Nana.
Nana.
I was already like.
Were you working at Fat Farm? 90?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
That's crazy. That's so
existed yet.
cool. We were in the streets of New York. I was 20 then, eating falafels and shit. Yeah, and you were young.
You're in your late
That's so
20s.
amazing that you were doing the same thing. Like
Mid-20s.
mid-20s. I was? Yeah,
you
I
were.
said that. All right, chill out. No, I wasn't. I was 18 in 88. So in 1990, I was fucking 20.
Oh, in 1990.
Yeah. That's something we aged ourselves. It's all good, though.
Well, I think one of the cool things about the scene, especially in New York, was that there were so many other people I discovered later on that were on the same path
Like-minded.
Right.
Yeah.
that I was on, and you wouldn't you don't judge a book kind of thing,
Right,
but it's like
100%.
you would never think that like the people at this show that you're at that look like they're all like raging
Psychos.
and like gonna kill people are like, we love animals and we're not gonna eat them. It's like you would never think that, but that was literally where I found the most people who were like-minded, and it was like it was like a community. It was nice.
Yeah. So I'll rewind a little bit. So now you're in school, and were you like pushing it on people? You just you in your own lane, like I'm vegan, this is me. But we trying to like teach other kids, or
If you asked me, I would explain it to you, but I wasn't like bringing it up and trying to change people.
Yeah.
Back then I wouldn't, I was just
Love
trying
that.
to maintain my own
Survival. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, you know, whatever, like I was a popular kid, and
you were. It's cool.
I had like a lot going on, and I wanted to like, instead of when you push something on people, you know, that tends to push them away. So
100%.
instead of doing that, I just tried to be inclusive and honest, and like, this is what I do.
Would you just show people through
I
your
hear
food,
you that
like,
you don't
here's
get
some
it,
snacks.
but yeah, but like,
Enjoy.
you know, like the same as it is now, like anytime I brought food, everybody wanted to eat my food.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't ask if it was vegan, or they weren't asking what the ingredients were. It's just it was better than everybody else's food.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because my mom kills it in the kitchen. So like I always had this like amazing food.
Yeah.
And then that was like an easy way for me to be like,
See?
sharing things and be like, you know, it's good, you know, it's
Right.
not, you're not going to be missing anything. It's not like that
So
big of a
eating it,
deal.
not even really knowing it was vegan, not judging it before. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I tried.
Yeah. And so how were you in school? You said you were popular. Were you a cheerleader, or were you like, what was your
I
deal?
wasn't a cheerleader. No, I was like a little gothic metalhead girl.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an older brother he's 13 years older than me. So
Wow.
I spent in my very, very young childhood, I was surrounded by, you know, fucking Goombas, you know, fucking Joey Zazas, I always called them.
Wow.
Hey, hey, give me my cigarettes. If I got them their cigarettes, the ashtray, their beer, if I did their
Right.
servant work, I was allowed to hang out in the room with them. And so I heard a lot of stuff probably no young girl should ever hear.
Okay.
And I became very comfortable with that. And
Okay.
so then when I was growing up, most of my friends were guys.
Okay.
I didn't have a lot of girlfriends. Girls tend to like, back then, they tended to like, I don't know, try to be in some kind of weird competition
Yeah.
thing
Okay.
that I wasn't into it at all.
Yeah.
And I felt like guys were like more honest,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And so I always had guy friends growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I always kind of thought like, oh, I couldn't trust girls because I just had this like general feeling that they were like not down with me in the way I wish that they would have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a few good girlfriends, and then like when I got older, I mean, it totally like all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, women. Fuck.
Right.
You guys are amazing. Like, where were you my whole childhood? But and also because of that, I feel like tying into the story that guys in general, especially young, you know, boys, like I got made fun of a lot for that reason. But they
Right.
were down. They stuck by my side, but not without abuse. You know, it was
Yeah.
like, you know,
But you weren't a tomboy. Is that what they call a tomboy?
I wasn't a tomboy.
Yeah.
I
You were a
wouldn't.
girl,
I was
girl.
never played sports or anything like that. I wasn't
Yeah.
into anything like. I was just super into music. Just super
And who
duper
got
into
you?
music.
So your brother got you into the metal stuff?
So my
or
brother was a
gothic?
DJ,
Okay.
and he DJ'd like club music, house music, rap, and stuff like that. And so, but the record companies would send him records, and all the records that he was not going to play at the club, he would give to me.
Oh, cool.
So
cool.
Depeche Mode, The Cure, you know, anything metal, anything that he just would never play in a club.
Right.
And I'm talking about when I was like 7, 8,
Yeah.
I started to get this like collection of records
That's awesome.
of like misfit. We used to call it the misfit pile. and so that's how I got into music, because by default, he kind of got me into that music by default. So I had an awesome collection of records by the time I was in high school. And yeah, it was just like super. It went from like kind of the gothy stuff. I got like really right around the time, around 5th or 6th grade, somebody made me a mixtape. Remember those?
Hell yeah.
I miss that.
Come on. Come on.
Made me a mixtape with Sepultura and Entombed.
Oh my God.
And a whole bunch
Yes.
of like really heavy stuff, and my
That's awesome.
brain just exploded everywhere. I was like, this is everything.
Life changing.
Life changing. Yeah. And the heavier it was and the more growling was involved, the more motivated I felt. I find that
Wow.
music to be super inspiring and like motivating and like
Yeah.
energetic, and It's the best.
Yeah. And so, what was your first concert or show?
Yeah.
It's gonna be some Spice Girls. What is it?
My first concert was in 1989. My dad took me to see Bon Jovi with Sam Kinison,
Oh my!
Wow.
Yeah,
Billy
yes.
Squier, and Skid Row at Giant Stadium.
That's fucking hard, man. That's amazing.
And if you YouTube that concert, 1989 Giant Stadium, just what comes up gives you a very interesting visual of how different life was back then
I'm sure,
from what
man.
it is now.
I'm sure.
There was just like naked girls on stage, leather whipping, I mean, all kinds of shenanigans, you know, and I was like a little girl, my dad at a concert. He even helped me to make a sign that said, because the album that had come out that year, the song was Lay Your Hands on Me. And so he helped me and my two girlfriends make a sign that said, John, lay your hands on us.
Oh my, how old were you?
I was like 10.
That's gangster, man. Holy fuck. That's insane. That's such an epic lineup. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm so glad I got to see Sam Kinison before he died.
I was just thinking that.
I think that was honestly part of the reason why my dad was so excited to go to and my family's super into stand-up comedy, so it was like it was a pull for him to go to the show with me because of that. And it ended up being like he's great. He was great. So
He's amazing.
Yeah. So that was my first concert.
I was just thinking that like comedian open up for that kind of show. But then I realized now a lot of comedians do that. They go on tour with musicians as well.
Yeah, like
it's not a new thing.
Andrew Dice Clay,
of course, yeah.
and stuff.
Oh,
He
I've
was
seen
very
him perform
popular
so
then.
many times. I'd be
Right.
embarrassed to
Damn.
count. Yeah.
He's pretty awesome too.
He's so
Yeah.
awesome. And he was always performing in New York. Like
Of course.
like
yeah.
once a week he was at
Hey.
Governors and all those places
Right.
all the time. So
That's a sick for a show with your pops. Wow.
yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool.
And then so when do you get into punk rock from after that? Like,
Yeah, what was one of your first punk rock shows?
Well,
because it wasn't at Arena, I'll tell you that.
So I'll be I'll be completely honest. So I was, like I said, goth metal, super metal.
Right.
And then obviously there's some crossover.
I guess we'll say alternative show. When was
Yeah,
your
Yeah.
fuck, let's say punk. Yeah.
But like punk came when I started dating Rick from the Casualties.
Oh shit, that's right, you did.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rick from the Casualties, man. Shout out the Casualties.
Yeah, shout out to the Casualties and to Rick. He was just texting me on my way here because he's a little bit jealous that I'm here and he's not.
Oh shit. Okay. shout out to Casualties.
when he gets a vegan restaurant. then-
Yeah.
Yo, he was always sweet, always a nice guy, always respectful.
Yeah,
mad cool.
he's the best, and he's like my best friend.
Okay,
so
we play with these guys a bunch. Awesome, that's cool.
yeah, so then it was like
How old were you then?
I was 20,
Okay.
and
where were you at in your life at that moment? Like working, like what were you
You
doing?
were still in Long Island?
so I was still in school. I actually went to school for photography.
I saw that. It's on my list.
I have a master's
interesting.
So you
degree
went
in
to
fine art.
Yes, she does.
university after
I've done a
high
lot of
school.
things
Yeah.
that
School
don't,
of Visual Arts. You
things
went
that
to.
don't line up. Yeah.
Oh, so you were like, okay, I'm going to go continue school after high school. That was in your mind.
Well, I wanted to go. Yeah, I wanted to go to art school.
Okay.
Going to culinary school wasn't an option because, like, I was already vegan, and back then there was no culinary school that would allow you to graduate without tasting and handling meat. So that was not an option.
Very interesting.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Now
Yeah.
there's lots of options, but back
course.
then there was not. So that wasn't even on the horizon at all.
Okay.
So I'm a visual person. So I wanted to go to art school, even though I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
But what kid does, really?
Right.
Did you do art in school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was really into it.
Yeah.
And I'm still really into it, except that I went for photography, but before everything went digital.
Gotcha.
And what I love about photography is being in the dark room. I spent a lot of my time in the dark room, a lot. And then as soon as everything went digital, I just totally lost my interest. I just really was just like, what is the point? I don't know. I want to be I want the chemicals. I want the I want the darkness. I don't know. There was something about that place that was like a sanctuary.
Yeah.
And then that got taken away. So it's like, so then I was like, okay, I really have to focus on food.
You still
I'm getting the belly right now. Excuse me.
You were still cooking a lot and all that at the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was cooking, but really like, not professionally.
Yeah.
And I did do a lot of like private lessons and private chefing or whatever you want to call it. But less like private chefing and more what I would always get called in for would be like to teach somebody.
Gotcha. For
whether it have been health reasons or somebody was sick.
How did they know
about you?
Yeah.
Pre-internet.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't pre-internet. There was there was internet. So it was like
the 90s. You're right.
Yeah. So it was like, and there was a lot of word of mouth. Like people would just, the Angelica community, literally the community table. Like we would all talk to each other, and I don't know, word of mouth. I ended up getting a couple of opportunities where I would go to somebody's house and like teach them how to, how to cook.
Yeah.
Without using meat or dairy, mainly because for people who had an illness.
Okay.
Not like for the same reasons why I was doing it.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. It's still relevant. So I enjoyed doing that, but I didn't start working in a restaurant until like a little bit late. Yeah. And I had already had like a career in photography that I hated.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I hated it. It was awful.
What kind of photos were you taking? What was your
God,
commercial
it's so
work?
weird.
Weddings?
What led up to this is yes, I shot weddings.
Oh wow! Okay.
And it was I not often, but it was part of it, and it was I would rather be a garbage woman. I mean, I can't tell you like how awful it is to photograph a person's wedding. It's just unless they're your friends or family and you care about them. It's
so you did a lot of those.
The worst.
I can only imagine.
In Long Island too.
Hell.
In a few in Long Island. Yeah, mainly in Manhattan.
Okay.
Some of these places are so beautiful, and you go in and you're like, you think it's going to be this amazing thing, but then it's just like they're all the same.
Show.
They're just all the same. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to get a shot over here.
It's
right
horrible.
over here.
But
Did we get that shot? Did we get the shot? I think can you come over here?
Well, luckily, I was only hired as what they called back then the photojournalist style photography.
Okay.
So
Okay,
it was
thank
never
God.
like
Okay.
setting up
Right.
portrait shots of mom and sister. It was more like, just like taking pictures of the bride, getting her makeup done and stuff
Okay.
like that kind of stuff, black and white.
Okay.
But still annoying.
But still, like, I just totally was not connected to that at all.
Right.
It was just,
Not very satisfying.
No. And then
Did it make you not want to get married? Ever? Do you think about back then? I don't want to deal with this wedding shit.
yeah, I'm not really a big wedding
Yeah.
person. in
I'm sure that
general.
definitely helped with that too.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm just wondering. I'm saying like maybe like, oh God, I don't deal with this shit.
Yeah, it's just especially because it's at some point it just feels very like insincere.
Right.
It's really contrived.
Yeah.
But so Rick and I, the Casualties were playing a festival show in San Francisco, and we flew out, what was supposed to be 2 nights, and he surprised me by renting. I worked for Rolling Stone magazine at the time.
Oh shit.
And I had a crappy like Us Weekly, Rolling Stone magazine, crappy job in the photo department, like entry level stuff, and but it was kind of cool.
Good for the resume.
But so he surprised me by renting a car so that we could do a cross country trip.
Oh wow.
So I basically called my boss at the magazine and said, I'm not coming back for a month, so I guess I'm quitting. And then 9/11 happened while we were driving. So it was we were in San Antonio, Texas.
Wow.
So everything by the time we got back had changed.
Of course.
And and I got like my life changed. Like I was like, we need to reassess the situation. I started working in a lab, a photo lab, doing printing and stuff like that. And I did that for a little while, but it was like just the more I was doing that, the more I was like, I'm just wasting my time. Like time is not waiting.
Mm-hmm. And there was always a dream in the back of your mind to be open a restaurant?
I told you, like when I was 12, I wanted to open a restaurant, but I had no experience.
Dream alive, but you kept alive though through everything.
It's really what I wanted to do, but it was like one of those things where in order for me to do that, I had to start at the bottom. And it's like hard to explain to anybody, let alone your mother and father who just spent $300,000 on a, college education.
Damn, yeah.
That you're going to go work as a prep cook in a kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you graduated from?
I graduated.
What school was it?
The School of Visual Arts, and then I got actually a scholarship, and I got my master's degree so that I could teach in the event that as a plan B kind of thing.
That's great, smart. Yeah.
And then I went and worked as a prep cook in a kitchen.
Wow, started over.
And just started
What was that kitchen?
minimum wage all over again from the bottom. And
What's the place and where was it located?
it was called Pure Food and Wine.
Yeah, I have it written down on my thing. It's my notes. Pure Food and Wine. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Where was it?
That's him. Where is
it was
that?
on Irving.
Oh, that's right.
Right just a block north of Union Square.
I've been there once before. Is it a raw spot or something?
It
No.
was raw, yeah.
There's not one out here. There was never one out here, right?
There's Plant Food and Wine out
That's
here.
right. Okay.
Yeah, that's Matthew Kenny's.
Yeah, so this was also a Matthew Kenny spot, but when he and Sarma split up, she got the restaurant, and so I started working there under her. I had never had anything to do with him.
I've only been there once. Is it like a high-end kind of spot?
It was super high-end.
Okay.
Yeah. It was really beautiful restaurant.
There's just the word wine in there. I know it's high-end.
It's fine.
It was an absolutely beautiful
Okay.
restaurant. I worked there for over 5 years. It
Oh,
was
wow.
like
And it was raw.
the most amazing experience.
All raw.
That's
All
awesome.
raw.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So now you're in it. Now you just fucking
I just
learning.
longed for a burn.
Right.
You know, I was just like, I gotta get out of here so I could use an oven.
Right.
Got you.
But yeah, it was an incredible experience. I worked under Chef Neil Harden, who's now the chef at ABCV in John George in New York.
Okay.
Which is like an incredible vegan restaurant.
Okay.
And he taught me how to manage. He taught me the management part of working in the kitchen.
Gotcha.
So that when he left, I could take his place, which was what happened. So
wow.
So he really taught me how to do the running a kitchen part.
Okay.
Because I already knew how to. I mean, as far as being creative and knowing how to cook and all that stuff was that was already easy to me. I had been doing that for a long time, and it's in my blood. And I had been vegan longer than anybody in that restaurant was even alive, probably. So
for sure.
Yeah, so he taught me the management part of it, and then it was just at some point you just say to yourself what have I been doing all this time? You know, why did I take so long to find the place that I belong? Because it was I really belonged. You know, it just was that feeling you found home kind of thing. And that's it.
Yeah. How long did you work there before you took it over and started managing it and running it? The kitchen and stuff.
A couple years. I mean, I started as a prep cook. I very quickly moved to be a line cook, and then I became his sous chef. And so it's over a couple of years, and then he left, and then I was the chef, and then I left, and I started working I was doing a bunch of things, but I started to think about moving here, which was something
What year is that?
Well, I guess it was 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, that was when I started thinking about it, because I had met my boyfriend so when I met my boyfriend, he had already put in his notice to his apartment in Manhattan.
Gotcha.
That he was because he was moving to LA, and then we met, and I was like, there's no reason for us to even hang out again, because I would never
Go to Cali.
ever live in shitty LA.
I said that too. I couldn't see beyond the buildings.
No,
I
was
never do it.
so. I mean, I had been here a million times, and I'm just so not into it at all.
Is that crazy?
It's weird because now I love it.
I know.
But it took me a long time.
I could never live in the winter again, man.
Never again. I'm such a wimp.
You're a straight native New Yorker, so that's a big deal.
Yeah. So,
damn.
You know, obviously we stuck it out, and he moved here, and I was still like, no way, I'm not doing it. I'm not moving.
So long distance relationship tribe.
Yeah, and which that's not. I can't wrap my head around that.
Nah.
So my landlord at the time, who was vegan, and I had lived in a bunch of her. I was pretty tight with her. She was a really cool lady, and she had this lumber yard that was down the street from me, and she was like, "Let's make it a vegan restaurant." So we did the whole thing. We went through the city. We got the blueprints. We worked with the architect. We built out we drew up a whole plan, brought it to the city, I started working on the menu. I was like, we were going.
Wow.
And then the city was like, okay, great. So everything's approved and it'll take about 5 years to get the permitting because it's right on top of a subway line. And in order to put the supports that the building would need to be built, like she wanted to build it out, the supports would have to go down into the subway platform, basically like into the underground. So I was like, wow, 5 years, that's a really long time. Maybe I'll just go to LA for a little while and come back.
Okay.
But I never went back.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. So did you like it when you first got it or you didn't like it?
No, I hated it.
I know, man. The first year or two is hard.
But you had that idea that you took from New York. You're like, okay, I can do maybe a restaurant out there.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that I was going to do it eventually. I can't sit still. So 5 years to me is an eternity. Crazy, so it was like, I'll go back.
And you already had like a menu you had in mind.
I mean, I've had like 100 menus that I've written and rewritten, for every different thing, opportunity. Yeah. Because it changes depending on what it is, So
I know where I met you. I just realized Real Food Daily when you worked there. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, sorry.
No, I was
we love RFD. We still fuck with it.
I was just going to say, like, if you had like I don't know how it works with recipes in your head. Is it like a diary? Like once you figure out something, are you like changing? I don't know.
I mean, it's constant. It's like I'm always hungry.
This is the one.
Yeah, but it's just like constant. I dream about food. Like I'm just constantly wanting to make food. I don't know how to explain it.
So you have a lot of the recipes and stuff in your head, or you put it on paper?
Mostly, it's in my head.
She's like Jay-Z.
Okay, interesting.
Jay-Z style. She'll write shit down.
And so actually, my sous chef, my sous chef, still to this day is. I'm like, oh, I had this idea to do da da da. He's like, write it down, and I'm like, oh, fine. Thank God for you. But yeah, I mean.
Cali.
So then I got here and I started working at RFD.
Yeah, were your parents tripping? That
my parents were totally tripping that I moved here. They were really upset, and I don't think anybody thought I was going to make it past 6 months.
Wow.
Maybe even including myself.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to make the effort to be with this person because up until that point, I feel like. I don't know. When you're younger, you make very selfish decisions.
You guys still together?
Uh-huh.
Amazing.
It's been 12
Amazing
years.
choice, my friend. No, that's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome.
So you were the chef at Real Food Daily when you first...
I was the culinary director.
Did you correct it? Okay, I see. Two things. Did you create the fucking Weekender, and did you create the nachos?
I did not. I did not create the Weekender.
What you make over there? We go there all the time.
The nachos, I believe Chef Dave Anderson... who was the chef there before me, quite some time before me, but I think he had developed those two particular dishes. I changed the cheese on the nachos.
To cashew or something?
I just messed with the recipe to make it a little easier to make because it was like, so back then they used to use, so Anne Gentry, who was the owner of RFD at the time and the original person who created it, she did everything based on sort of like Angelica's Kitchen. Okay. Based on macrobiotic.
I could see that.
Eating. And so a lot of the ingredients were like really hard to get, kind of like Japanese, like things that you had to buy in these little tiny bottles, like retail size things that were not, really savvy for a restaurant to be using.
Right.
So when I got there, I changed all that kind of stuff and made it more like
easier to get.
First of all, everything organic because that kind of stuff. Right. Yes, it was Japanese and made in Japan, but like it wasn't organic. It wasn't,
Right. And Real Food Daily was pretty much the only place on the spot back then, or in LA, or were there other places?
I think she was maybe the first.
Besides Follow Your Heart, maybe in the Valley.
Okay.
Follow Your Heart, maybe that's the OG spot.
Is it? Was that there before she was? I think she opened in 95 or 90.
Yeah, I think. I can't.
In the mid 90s, I can't remember exactly.
That's in the Valley. That's
okay. We're not including the Valley.
Well, I'm just saying, like, and they have their own cheese. They have their own brand and shit. Because I used to go there when I came here on tour, or Mother's, which was not in LA. That's in Orange County still. Yeah, which is a grocery store / vegan restaurant.
I've heard about that.
It's OG though, but it's not in LA. Whatever. Anyway, but Real Food Daily definitely had the Angelica's vibe. I knew.
Yeah. So Anne even had a copy of Angelica's menu because she used to work there when she lived in New York. So when she came here, I don't think it's a secret. I don't think I'm giving away any secret. Like she fully used that as inspiration to open Real Food Daily.
Got it.
It's cool.
So, that was another incredible experience. I worked there for, again, over 5 years.
5 years.
I'm a long hauler.
I love that.
I'm like a committed, loyal to a fault kind of person.
Yeah.
And I loved working there. Oh my
really?
God. It was the only reason it was one of the main reasons why I stuck it out in LA besides my dude was because I really loved my job. And for that reason, it was like, I was learning so much about like, again, just running a business.
Yep.
So many things that I needed to learn before I could ever even really think about opening my own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's still in the back of your mind the whole time. I'm at my own place someday.
The whole time I was like, okay, this place has 3 locations.
That's right.
And I was running all of them.
Oh, wow.
And then we opened the one in LAX, which was the most horrific
still there,
experience
right?
I've ever had. I have no idea.
Okay.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's only international, right?
I don't think it's open anymore. I'm not.
Wow.
I heard it's not open anymore. I'm not sure.
I only got to go there once.
It was international, and I was flying a lot, and I would always go there. I was like, oh, that's only $40. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
so you opening
for
a vegan
sandwich.
Was it because it was a vegan
brutal.
spot at LAX? It's because opening a restaurant at LAX is hard.
Opening a restaurant at LAX is
Okay.
not something I suggest anybody wants to enjoy their life should ever do.
So you were going to all the locations.
Yeah, so I
Damn.
overseed all of the locations. I opened the LAX location with the person who is my now business partner and sous chef.
Awesome.
We did it together, which made us super tight.
Sure.
Right.
Because we just had the misery all together.
Well, bravo! I gotta
shared
say
it
that
together.
I was really impressed because I was like, "Oh my god!"
It was like a
finally an
mirage.
option. I was like, "I can't." It
was like a
literally-
mirage.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, "I can't believe I can get something here." I was like,
It was
most of
the
my
challenges
stuff.
with that place was that like the people who work in the airport are not cooks.
Yeah.
They're people who work at Burger King or
Yeah.
Chili's or
Right,
these
right.
places where like they're opening cans and putting it into a steam table. They don't know how to make food on any
Yeah.
level. And RFD, we prepped everything from scratch. So we had to literally train these people who really didn't care and didn't have any real interest in learning.
Yeah.
We had to teach them just how to cut an onion, just from the basic bottom,
Yeah.
skills
That
in
sounds
order to
horrifying.
do a recipe. Yeah. I mean, it was like, and if they cared, it would have been fun maybe.
Yeah.
But most of them like really didn't care. It was just a job.
I got
Job
that.
at the airport.
I
Yeah.
got
At
that
the
from the
airport,
feeling of going
there's no
there.
windows. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody's depressed. It's like, it's not.
Everything is kind of pre-made though. Pretty much they made it easy. It seems where it's like you don't have to prepare anything. And it's quick.
But the prep cooks were preparing everything.
I see.
So we had to teach them how to do that
Just-
because we didn't have like a
right.
commissary kitchen or anything like that. So
Right.
it was.
I do want to say that my experience there the one time, it did not taste the same as it tasted the one.
course
I
Oh,
used to
I'm
go to.
sure
Yeah.
it didn't.
I do want to say that.
I definitely would think that I've always thought this that I love eating like plant-based stuff food because people really care about it in places, and I think that has an impact on what you're eating as well. Like you're
yeah.
taking that energy
Totally.
of that person, like when you're eating
With
at a
love.
home meal, a love,
Yeah.
and concern and just like really that feeling. I didn't have it there. I was just like,
Yeah,
oh,
me either. Where the
you
fuck
know.
Yeah,
LAX, bro,
because
but
it
yeah.
doesn't exist there.
I could see a veggie grill there though.
Yes.
More like a fast food vibe.
Yeah.
That would be
Or
different.
like a
would be
Monty's
different,
or
though.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be different.
Totally.
That would
I know what
definitely be
you're saying.
different. This was too complicated. The recipes were too complicated. We were expecting too much, really, from the
Right.
people who were employed,
Yeah.
and it was brutal too, just because they were sharing a space with like the 5 other restaurants, and it was all like, I mean,
Food court
you
shit.
step right
Yeah,
out of that
food
door,
court.
and it's like a side of pork hit you right in the head. Like
Right.
there was no separation,
Mm-hmm.
which also made me really uncomfortable because I was like, don't touch that. Don't go near that. Don't share.
Right.
Don't share my knife. Like,
Yeah,
don't.
you care too much. You're compassionate about it. We talked about off the podcast earlier, like, why isn't there a Pura Vita in New York? But now I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to have that same... Obviously, New York's different than the fucking airport.
Yeah.
It's like Angelica's at the Mall of America or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it's not the world. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's
I
just
was
like,
just saying.
for me, the restaurant thing is a very personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
My food is very personal. It's like the food that is from my culture, my heritage,
Yeah.
my upbringing, my family.
And you do it well.
Thank
You
you.
do it very well.
Mm-hmm.
And part of having a restaurant it's not just about making food. It's about the experience, and it's about music, and it's about people and watching them, have an experience.
Yeah.
All of the elements around you, not just the food. Obviously the food's very important, but
Of course.
and if I wasn't there physically, if I open one in New York, then it's like, how do I make sure that it's representing all of the things that to me are equally important as part of the experience?
And yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you could ask any of my employees, like, oh, hey, I like this song. Like, what are you listening to? And it's like, oh, Chef creates these playlists and we're not allowed to play anything else. I roll. Like, they make fun of me because I'm so like, don't be putting your own music on. Don't start playing some go.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I was there a couple weeks ago at Pura Vita. Took my friends in for the first time. Chappelle and Kelly.
Okay.
And it was all 90s hip hop. We were so fucking hyped the whole night. And that was like a Friday or Sunday. Thanks for getting me in there. And it was like all nice. And we were like rocking the whole time.
Oh,
we
you
were
sat in the
eating.
pizzeria.
Yeah. It was
you sat in
So
the pizzeria.
actually, so this is also a very intentional thing.
Sick.
So
Wu-Tang, everything.
Nice.
So the two, because they're like sister restaurants,
Yeah,
right? So
I
the
haven't sat in the pizzeria.
restaurant and the pizzeria are technically separate restaurants.
Right.
And then we have the outside space, which we share. But in Pura Vita, I play all the like oldies, rock and roll, doo-wop, all the stuff that I grew up listening to with my dad. Very nostalgic stuff, because to me that food is very nostalgic.
Good New York vibe in there too.
But the pizzeria is like the other part of my brain.
Yeah.
Where so you can literally walk from one side of my brain to the other side of my brain, where it's just like old hip hop.
It was, man.
And it could potentially be offensive and all the things
for sure
that a pizzeria should be. I mean,
right.
But it's funny because some people don't want to sit in the pizzeria for that reason.
We loved it. I can't believe it. Even my wife was like, "Oh shit."
Nice. I haven't had the opportunity to sit in the pizzeria.
Let's do it soon.
Because I was so pissed with this goddamn COVID.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're going to open it. Because I remember it was
I know.
just
Well,
like
you were actually the first
it.
person to sit in the pizzeria because
Right.
you came for the opening
Right. I was like,
quote unquote party that had
Right.
like everybody spaced out 6 feet.
Yeah. And I was just like, what the? I was so looking forward to it.
During like the 9 days we were allowed to be open inside.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then we closed
So
back down.
strict.
So, okay, so Real Food Daily. How long is in between Real Food Daily? Is that Pura Vita next, or do you do something else in between that?
No, I left Real Food Daily to open Pura Vita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Real Food Daily was an amazing experience. I learned a lot about running a business, all the things to do, mainly all the things not to do.
Yeah.
And then Anne sold the restaurant, and after she sold it, I stuck around for a minute, but then I beelined because I realized that it was not going to be two things. One, that it wasn't going to be what it was.
Yeah.
Anytime
It definitely isn't.
Anytime there's new ownership, that
of
everything
course.
starts to change. And the other thing was that I realized that I was so comfortable there because I loved working with Anne and I loved my crew and I loved everything. I got very comfortable, and at some point you stop learning and you're just like living in comfort. And it was time, it was time for me to make myself uncomfortable and face the next challenge, so that I can
Totally makes sense.
finally do the thing I had wanted to do my whole life.
It. Yeah,
if ever there was a time for me to do it, it was going to be right at that moment.
You definitely did it. I mean, because you opened your place, and then it wasn't that much longer that the pizzeria opened up. I was like, wow, you got the spot, because there was something else there, and I was like, man, that place is doing no business. Next
door.
Yeah, it was like a Thai place.
Was
It
it?
was a Thai place. So when we were opening Pura Vita, when we were building it, we did it all ourselves.
Yeah.
Me and my partners, like everything with our own hands.
Beautiful inside.
And thank you. It's very proud
Very
to know that
warm
we did
and
it
very
all
warm.
ourselves.
Yeah.
But
Good date
during
place. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. During that time, I became pretty tight with the lady who owned the Thai place next door, and she started like cooking vegan food for us and stuff. And she was like super,
sick.
super sweet. And at some point, she came to me and she was like, my father's really sick. I need to go back to Thailand.
Oh man.
I think I'm going to sell the restaurant. I've had it for 20 years. 19 years.
Damn.
Wow.
And so I'm going to sell it. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't have any money, but I really wish that I could,
Right.
take advantage of this opportunity because it's literally right next door.
It's fucking insane.
And so, very long story short, she is actually my partner in the pizzeria. She gave us the spot instead of selling it.
What?
So you fucking redid the whole place.
Which is hard to explain to people why they're two separate businesses,
Yeah.
because she's not a partner at Pura Vita. She's only a partner at the pizzeria. So it's the ownership is different. And for that reason, it's
That's incredible.
complicated.
And she went back home and you just run it?
She has nothing to do with the restaurant. She just gave me the space.
Wow, that's incredible, man.
For like a percentage.
She's so psyched. She must be
She's
so
awesome.
happy.
She's a super, super wonderful lady. Like she's really, really great.
That's
And,
incredible.
I had no idea. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Just gave it to you.
I have to say, I mean, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I don't know. I don't want to
Just say it.
Yeah, like I don't want to sound like, everything's so great and I'm so great, but like my experience has been so bizarre in the sense that life or the universe or whatever you want to call it just keeps like presenting things to me.
Right.
And the same thing happened in Redondo. Like my partner was like, he and his wife live in Redondo. His wife owns a female fitness studio focused on moms.
That's cool.
And the landlord of that place owns a bunch of the buildings on the strip. And like, long story short, there was this restaurant that had a fire and they used their insurance and they rebuilt it to be this beautiful place. Mm-hmm. And then they opened and closed. And like within no time.
Wow.
And then it just sat there for years and she wasn't paying rent, I guess. And it was just like this space, this beautiful restaurant
it's a great space.
And he wasn't collecting rent on it or anything. And so he took it from her and just handed us the keys.
Wow. That's
Again,
insane.
like
it's amazing.
I was like, my partner was like, so how do you feel about opening a restaurant in Redondo Beach? And I was like, no fucking way.
It's a beautiful spot, man. It's
I'm
beautiful.
exhausted. I haven't had a single day off. I haven't had like a full night of sleep in 4 years. Like there's no way. We're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Like what crack are you smoking? You know?
I know.
And he was like, well, just come and see it and understand that like we don't have to buy it. Mm-hmm. He's literally handing us the keys. Like all we have to do is sign a lease. And I'm like,
crazy.
Because to buy a restaurant, like when you buy a restaurant, you're buying all the licensing and all the equipment and all
liquor license,
just
all that
everything
shit.
that's inside of it. And so the liquor license had expired, so that wasn't a part of it. But everything that was inside of it was brand new.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And and would have cost like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so just as the icing on the cake, I said, let's do the liquor license lottery.
No.
And my partner was like, you're out of your fucking mind. There's nobody wins the lottery. And I'm like, we will. We're going to win the lottery. And we fucking won the lottery.
Oh my God. And those are hard to get and they're expensive.
Really hard to get.
Really hard to get.
Really hard to
That's
get.
incredible.
Now,
You got good karma, girl.
on our side was the pandemic because I don't know how many other people were
right.
opening
Opening.
restaurants
Sure.
and bars during a pandemic. So for that reason, I think that might have played into our
Good
case, in a positive way a little bit. But
Totally.
But whatever. It was just like, it's just amazing.
And that's crushing over there too, huh?
It's great. I mean, you could watch the sunset over the ocean from the bar.
I know, I've been
Like,
there. It's beautiful. man.
When I work there, sometimes I'm just like, what did I ever, like, how is this mine? Like,
We
what?
need to go. You've been there to the new
I haven't
location.
been there yet.
Let's
That's
go.
what
Let's
I've
go
been-
soon, like ASAP.
I'm dying to go.
Let's do
I
it.
mean,
Yeah, it's cool over there. It's nice.
It's
I mean,
cool. It's totally different vibe.
I think you really
Different
have
vibe.
to explain to people how difficult, like the chances
That's
of a
crazy.
restaurant surviving. Because I don't
And the
think
pandemic.
people don't really understand how difficult
It's
it
so
is.
hard.
Let
And
alone a
they usually
pandemic.
fail.
Yeah.
Like
It's
majority
really,
of the time.
it's
like
really,
the
really,
percentage.
really,
Without a lockdown,
really
they fail.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was difficult before, but exciting and amazing and wonderful. And then the pandemic happened, and like, I mean, it's just one brick wall after another. It's just like you can't find people to work. Nobody wants to work.
I heard that too.
You can't get ingredients. Everything costs 10 times more than it used to cost. People are afraid to come out. You have to, like, that's the reality. There's still people who are afraid to, be in public. And,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're safe as safe can get.
Of course.
I was like a borderline germaphobe before the pandemic. So like you can rest assured that everything is, scrubbed down with disinfectant. But, but understandably so, people are just like different now.
Yeah.
And it gives us a lot of challenges.
Yeah. Were you like worried about losing those spots during the pandemic?
I still worry about it.
Yeah.
Because this is still kind of like, what's going to happen?
Not knowing, it's still up back and forth about everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Like somebody said to me the other day, like, oh, if they shut everything down again, there's a new variant. And I'm like, I am not.
The Omicron.
I am not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just not shutting. I'm not shutting down. How about that? I'm not doing it.
Were people ordering like Postmates, all that stuff during the lockdown? That was helping all the orders and.
Yeah, all the takeout. I mean, we have like really some seriously amazing repeat, guests who just kept us alive.
That's good.
I mean,
those tight clients, And when you open this, like when you had the idea to open, you had a name already, I assume. You're like, this is going to be the name of it. How do you promote a restaurant? Because a lot of places I see suffer because they don't have a clientele. They're not able to promote it. I think that's a really difficult
social
aspect,
media.
Social media. That's it. I mean, we couldn't afford a marketing company because they're super expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
We have an amazing social media manager, and she just gets it out there. I don't know. Fuck all about that stuff.
I do want to speak. I'll speak for us and our crew. Like I think one thing about the vegan community with its pros and its cons and its whatever is that when something is new, we get so hyped on it because we don't have that and we promote it and tell people about it. I think it's word of mouth and it's a community that does like to look out for each other, you would hope, and promote each other because we can't have enough vegan restaurants no matter where you fucking live in this world.
100%.
So the more we get, especially get Italian one like that, we don't have. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to go to Maggiano's for years to get fucking whatever vegan options I can make at Maggiano's. And when that opened, it's like, and I wrote it down too because my wife's favorite thing is, I think it's your favorite thing that you make over there. I can't probably say it right. Carbonara.
Carbonara, yeah.
Yeah, that's my wife's favorite shit. And I read somewhere, I did a deep dive and you love that too. You know what I mean?
It's definitely
one of your faves.
It's one of my favorite things that I've ever made because I dreamt it.
Okay. Is that with the fake egg on top too or some shit? That's not it. Okay.
No, we don't do the fake egg
thing.
But
my wife loves that. She wanted me to say that.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
She was obsessed.
But that's a very popular dish.
I'm just saying. I'm not sure what it's like in the meat industry restaurants where like, yo, we got a new steakhouse. Let's all promote it on social media. Let's all go and support because there's a million of those. I'm just saying for us,
you're right.
we get so hyped. Oh my God,
that's
something
so
fucking
true.
new.
It's very true.
No disrespect to any of the restaurants that we fucking played out over and over again because that's all we had. I mean, all I had was Astro Burger when I fucking moved here in 2001 because they had a vegan menu option.
They did?
Yeah, it was fucking. They still have it. Vegan ham sandwiches and shit. My wife loved it. But then we got other spots. We had to go to the Valley to follow your heart. So then when you get these, and for at least for me and me and you, because we've been in this shit since the 80s, and you fucking since you were fucking 11 or 12. Sorry, but like we get so excited about it, and that's what you want. That's what it's supposed to be about. Is like promoting each other. So that's how you should get the word out by us posting about it and going to it. And sharing it because it's a compassionate, a unified community. Now, this is me from outside perspective. I don't know if it's like a tattoo shop where if you open up a tattoo shop, you have to tell another tattoo shop in a 10-mile radius, can I open it up out of respect for this, what we do? Is it like that opening vegan restaurants? Is it hard? Is it a supporting community that I hope it is?
I hope so. I did not.
Do you know what I'm saying, though, D?
Yeah, I totally hear
I
what
did
you're
not visit all of the local vegan restaurants and
I'm not saying,
inform them of the opening.
But I would just be so united with everybody.
I just wanted to say
I just
that
want to
I'm
let you
down the
know.
block and let you know that this is going on.
This
like
is not
the
a competition.
like that, yeah,
this is
tattoo
like
shops.
building
Right.
a community, you know.
But I'm
I
saying
just
though,
want to get your blessing.
was it a warm welcome in LA? Was it like scary?
I mean, it was totally scary, but the thing that
You're a Brooklyn girl.
The thing that I remember the most about the opening weekend of the first location was that we had no idea what to expect. I mean, no idea. Like it was just, who am I? I'm nobody. Nobody knows who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like I'm some famous chef that been on TV or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
That's why I was asking. Like, how do
I'm
you get
just
people
like
in there?
some random girl,
DIY girl.
Right.
you know, and and proud to be that, you know.
Of course.
And I mean it. That's the only thing that separates me from maybe other people is that like I really mean it. You know, it's coming from my heart.
Yeah.
I live it every day, and I have for a very, very long time.
And before it was trendy, and before it was cool.
Way before it was trendy,
Right.
and it's my heritage. So like proudly representing the Italian people and culture, and I can feel like I think I do a pretty good job of that. I mean, nobody's perfect, but
No, great job.
Bravo.
But I had no reason to think that the opening weekend was going to be anything spectacular, basically. Like we were just going to do our best and see what happened. And we did a friends and family night. We when I think back to it, it like makes me nervous to even think about it. We did one friends and family night,
Okay.
on a Thursday night, and then we opened to the public on Friday.
Oh, shit.
Like we practiced one night.
Wow.
And fixed all the many, many, many mistakes that we made and opened to the public on Friday for dinner. And there was a fucking line.
It's amazing.
2 blocks long with like a 3-hour wait for people to sit down.
It's like a sneaker drop at Supreme.
Yeah.
I never in my wildest imagination thought that would ever happen in my life.
That's amazing,
Well,
man.
yeah, I gotta admit,
I would've started crying.
It's amazing location.
Oh,
Perfect,
yeah.
perfect location in the heart of just
It is.
everything happening. You have nobody really around.
There's
with
nobody
a place
around
like
that shit.
Yeah.
You know, you have a great atmosphere inside, like very warm. You have incredibly, like food that's like from the heart. You know, it's like really consoling.
It's like a home
type
vibe.
of food.
It's a home
You know,
vibe.
it's
Yeah.
just like, oh my god. And so it's great for people who aren't vegan to go there.
Right.
And that's
100%.
what's so exciting because that's the only people I really bring there.
I
Yeah.
love that
Friends
too.
from
Yeah.
out of town.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
People who aren't vegans. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say anything.
Yeah,
That's my
because
favorite thing to do.
I'm vegan, but like I didn't want to open a place that was obviously vegan.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Love
Like
that.
I'm vegan, but I'm not a hippie, and I'm not like
You're far from a
I'm
hippie.
not attracted to anything that's like hippie-esque in any way. Like
Yeah.
I hear you. Just saying.
I
She's
have
nowhere
like
broken
I
stock.
have my style, and it's been the same for a really long time, and
Yeah.
it's just that's whatever.
That's who you are.
But nobody knew any of that.
Right.
Which was why I was so surprised. But what I did find out on opening weekend, because I asked, like, I tried to talk to every single table that came in there. I was so blown away by everything that was going on around me. I had to learn about it. Like I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
why? Like why are you
Why?
here?
Right.
How
Good
did you hear
question.
about this?
Right.
And there was this website or social media site called Veg Out Los Angeles
that.
I had
It's
never
still
heard
in.
of
Yeah, I
before
know
that.
that. Yeah.
And when I tell you 80% of the people in there were like, oh, I saw it on Instagram on Veg Out
Whoa.
LA. And I was like, who are these magical people?
I met them because they came and did something over here with this spot.
Yeah,
Okay,
powerful.
yeah.
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 And they continue to be magical people.
So
but,
cool.
But I didn't know who they were before that. And I was like, they just blew it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. One tiny little mention it goes a really long way.
Yeah,
So it was-
first time I heard about it, I saw Kat Von D posting about it. She was posting so much about it. It's the first time I heard about it.
Yeah.
Then I hit her up
love
about
her.
it. Yeah. it's
Oh, I
fucking-
miss her.
Just the word of mouth and shit, like that. Like
Word
seeing
of
people
mouth
post.
is strong. And also the food just speaks for itself. Really when you go there and people just eat, it's going to make them come back. I think it's so powerful that it has that impact too, But
Oh my
it's
God.
really,
Yeah.
everyone I've ever brought there, they're just like, yo, what is up with I can do vegan now? Like,
Yeah, I
really,
love that
like,
shit.
mean,
When I
it's
hear
just like-
people say that makes me feel like
Yeah.
I'm accomplishing
oh yeah,
the very
I
thing.
mean, these
that
are
I
like hardcore, like meat eaters.
Yeah.
I was bringing in like carnivores, literally,
Yeah.
and they're
Eh,
like,
bring all the carnivores.
And there's nothing out here. And there's nothing out here like there was nothing out like that in LA.
right.
Nothing.
And I just,
Perfect.
I mean, it was really just well done. Well
Timing,
done.
everything
Thank
was
you.
great. Yeah,
Bravo.
you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
so how many years you there now for?
So the restaurant opened in September of 2018. So it's been three
Okay, seems
3
longer,
years
man.
plus.
It's crazy. It seems
Yeah,
longer.
no, it's the pandemic.
It's been a
is-
long couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a really
know.
weird couple of
It
years.
seems like 10 years it's been there or some
I
shit.
know, it's crazy.
I know.
Fuck, it's crazy.
It's
when you
really
do
only
all
been
that
3 years. Three
know.
plus a couple months. And then
Redondo too. That's pretty new.
yeah, and then we opened
Redondo.
we were opening the pizzeria in March of 2020
Mm-hmm.
until they shut everything down. So we
Yeah.
decided not to open. We were like waiting.
Yeah, I was like, what the?
Yeah. I'm like, we're opening, only kidding.
I was
Ha.
like, are you serious? Are you serious? I was kind of upset.
Yeah, the pizza's so good too. And there was really no pizza spots out here that I can
True.
remember.
I was like,
I mean, there are some. There's
There's
some I won't even name that have options, but it was nothing like that. And I
Yeah.
did read something where you said it was pretty hard to make the gluten-free crust.
The gluten-free
Yeah.
crust was the thing
And I
I
love
was.
gluten-free crust.
It
yeah.
was the most important thing to me because
Yeah.
I think, obviously we're in LA. It's the time that it is. You have to have gluten-free options, but
Yeah.
I'm not gluten-free, and
Yeah.
I don't.
Me either. I'm just annoying.
I don't normally.
Yeah.
I don't normally enjoy gluten-free things because I think that they're like subpar.
Yep.
And so I really, really, really wanted to make sure that was not going to be the case. Like we had to have like a crazy killer gluten-free.
And it's great. I had it a
crust.
couple weeks ago. It was great.
Thank you.
Yeah. you don't fuck with cauliflower crust?
I
That's
don't
the
fuck
thing?
with cauliflower. No.
And you don't fuck with no
It's a
fake meats or nothing either.
It's a 900-degree wood-burning oven.
Yeah.
Cauliflower would disintegrate
Yeah.
the moment it touched the
but
stone.
I love that's the old school Italian Brooklyn and her too. Like not keep it traditional and
Right.
you know what
No,
I mean?
you're gonna eat carbs when you come see me.
Yes,
Yeah.
carbs. That was
They
like,
could be gluten-free carbs, but they're gonna be carbs nonetheless.
You can only take a nap after.
the
Luke.
best
Yeah.
carbs there. Jesus.
Yeah.
And so you don't fuck with fake meat.
I
You
don't
fuck
want to
with fake
apologize
meats
for
either.
it either. No, I'm not really into the fake meat thing
Yeah.
either. I mean, we have
That's
meatballs.
Yeah, but they're made.
They're homemade.
in-house.
Yeah, they're made in house. The meatballs are made out of lentils and mushrooms. I don't do any of the packaged meat stuff. It's cool. I'm glad that all that stuff exists.
Yeah, me too.
But for me, I want all of the ingredients in the restaurant to be like super clean,
And that's another reason
and
I bring people there.
like
Yeah.
plant based.
Right.
Like whole, like actual vegetables and.
Right.
I just
and
realized
meats and
something
stuff.
too. If you know by now, listen to the podcast. You don't know, but Derek knows. I despise mushrooms.
All right.
But I want.
I'm always pushing it on them.
But guess what? I ate those meatballs. I know they're mushrooms a couple weeks ago on the pizza.
I'm proud of you.
Holy
I'm
fuck!
proud
I
of
just
you.
realized
That's a
that.
big,
I didn't even know it.
big
That's
plus.
awesome.
That's a big
I love
yeah.
that.
Bringing him to the
fucking-
mushroom
I
world
love
is going
it.
to open a whole universe.
And then meanwhile, I've been drinking this Amaz, this Yerba Mate tea from the
I brought this to
Amazon.
you.
For me,
I
It's-
did, and I have it again.
And it's got mushrooms. It's made out of mushrooms. So I'm like, I've been drinking this for
What-
fucking
can I see
months.
it?
So
What
the
is it?
first generation I brought to you.
Oh
I did
yeah.
to
I
her
remember
place.
this. Yeah.
And it would be, and I was like, this now. Now they have this.
But I drink
Yerba
mushrooms
Mate.
every day.
Yes, every day.
Damn,
and
I'm
so
growing
this
up.
you got to try. But
Okay.
we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, but but I was going to VP for a million years getting this beef and broccoli. Short story, long story. And finally, like something came up at the table. My wife had something with mushrooms, and my wife said to the person, they're like, my husband hates these mushrooms. And they go, beef and broccoli. I'm like, what? They go, that's made out of mushrooms. I was eating it for like 10 years. I don't even know there's mushrooms in it.
Wait, what part of it was made out of
I
mushrooms?
don't
The
fucking
beef
know.
part?
It was this weird. It's a weird fake meat I ever had. It was at VP, and it wasn't like anything we eat now. It seemed like it was like a little
So
like
like wheat gluten,
a patty or something.
mushrooms
Yeah, it was weird.
I thought it was like soy protein.
with mushrooms or some shit. Anyway,
okay.
so I
Interesting.
guess I do eat mushrooms, not knowing it's them. And I have no
Yeah.
problem with it
Yeah.
because the meatballs were great.
I think it's just the preparation. I used to hate Brussels sprouts growing up.
Me
It's
too.
just the
I never liked
preparation,
Brussels
though,
sprouts.
Until you get to someone
You
that's like,
gotta-
this is how it's supposed to
You have
taste.
to put some love into it.
And
Yeah.
not to
Um,
be like all soggy. And
Just think about how the world's changed since we've become vegans. Like how incredible. Anywhere you go, there's an option. Like I don't know if you've been to this restaurant. I'm gonna plug them right now. And I want to take her to. It's called the Green Table Cafe. that I
I've
thought-
never been there, but I keep hearing
Okay,
about it.
I thought it was a coffee shop. I've lived here for fucking 18 years, and now we go there. There's no refined sugar and there's no oils. The guy's from Italy. He's fucking.
It's literally
oh my
from
God,
Italy.
He's from Italy. Yeah.
that's what I was going
Yeah.
to Yeah.
It's
I
4
think
blocks.
that's why I keep hearing about
It's
it.
4
Right.
blocks from my house. Everything's fresh. The salads, there's like a raw falafel. Like everything's fucking the desserts, everything. And I just kept walking past it, thinking it was a coffee shop, and it's in my fucking neighborhood. And now we're obsessed with it.
Yeah,
And
I've heard it's
and
really
it's
good.
so nice. It's the music's incredible. Like your spot, it's like a positive vibe. All types of people and
See.
and the food's and the dude's so proud. He's so positive, and he's just like, I don't know. It's awesome
He's
spot.
definitely got that European.
just
vibe
super-
where
it's
it's
super
just,
healthy.
I have to go
very
in there and
you have-
and
Yeah,
meet
I
him.
want- I want
curious
to
hear
meet
your
him.
take.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really open person, open heart. You can tell he loves what he does, like you, like
Yeah.
very passionate.
Yeah.
And I think it's great when you have like certain restaurants that you can really get behind. It's like
Me too.
I love your place. Always talk about it. It's like
That's how
in
it's
one of my
supposed to
top
be.
5.
Yeah.
And I
Oh.
think that would be a plus that other places are supporting other places.
Oh,
you know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, that's the same thing as bands. Like we support
Right.
each other.
Yeah.
Like restaurants, especially vegan
It's like,
ones.
you need to check. When you have that variety, I think it makes it much more exciting. There's enough people that are coming in here that they can go around.
We're in Los Angeles, bro.
Yeah.
I know it's like
Yeah.
So
I don't think, I mean, for example, there was a vegan restaurant opening up right down the street from us.
Mm-hmm.
There was a sign in the window that said vegan cafe
let's
coming
take
soon
it
or
out.
whatever it said. I don't remember. And I remember one night my PM kitchen crew came in and they were like all like whispering amongst each other. And I was like, guys, what's going on? Like, and they're like, you tell her. No, you tell her. You know, like everybody. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Like, what am I missing? And they were like, there's another vegan restaurant opening up a block away. And I was like,
You're like, not on my watch.
I was like, okay.
And
Yeah.
Is
And they
it
were
Pura
like,
Vita?
and they were like, well, it's right across the street. And I'm like, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, blink, blink. Like no one understood that perspective. But I'm like, I want every restaurant to be vegan.
I
Right.
know.
And I don't see it as a competition at all. Like I just think that like I want all the things to be vegan. Obviously, that's like
Yeah.
It's
that
saving
would be
more
the
animals.
dream. Yeah.
Yes.
No, absolutely.
And it
Yeah.
turns out that it's Love. It's called Love in WeHo. It's a Thai place.
Ooh.
And it's my favorite restaurant. I eat there every Monday night when we're
Wow.
closed.
That's
I
what's
love
up.
Thai food,
And it's
too.
again, it's a female chef, female owner,
Oh.
two sisters running the
We
place,
gotta check it out.
Yeah,
front
no
and back,
doubt.
kind of like me and Nadia.
Right.
You guys know Nadia, right? Like
Yeah, that's
she's
fucking
like
so
So wait, we could go there to eat and then go get some dessert at your spot
Yeah.
because you have the sickest.
you.
My God,
What are those?
that-
What are those traditional Italian things with the powder on them? You give it
Tiramisu.
Yeah.
No.
Little
He's
balls.
Oh,
talking
the
about
Zeppeli?
Yeah,
I see all my
Zeppeli.
friends eating at,
Zeppeli.
all my friends ate them at Mulberry Street back in the day, but I couldn't eat them.
Zeppeli.
That's where
Yeah.
she. And I was
Yeah.
talking to you about that. I was like, "This is straight off
Yeah.
of Mulberry Street." It's
Yep.
like, finally
Served in
Now
the
I'm
brown paper
hitting
bag.
you
My wife loves
because
those.
I just saw you have these cannolis. I
They're-
was like, "Are you kidding?"
I tried
me?
it. I tried the other day.
Oh,
for Christmas.
God.
Oh, there's other ones I had. Yeah.
Jesus
For
Christ,
Christmas,
you're killing me.
yeah, all the pastries for Christmas. You know,
Do you
have
love?
the
Do you love?
best
Do you love eating your own
desserts.
food there? You eat your own food there? You like eating or sick of it?
I don't know why that always sounds so weird to me. Like I eat my own. I eat my
I
own.
eat my own. Good to hear.
I eat my own food 6 days a week. Yeah,
Okay.
it's great, but also really can get kind of monotonous
I was
after
gonna,
a
I was
while.
gonna say
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But I don't really like take the time to go anywhere else. Like when I'm at work, I'm at work. I don't really
right.
leave.
So we'd
Your
have
life.
to bring you.
I
some stuff.
occasionally take a walk down to MedMen, but
Okay.
that's like usually the only walk I take away
Right.
from the restaurant.
It's like on
And-
the same block.
And rewind for a second. How long did it take you to make that first menu before you opened it? Was that like a stressful thing? Like,
No, the menu, the hardest part about the menu was editing
okay.
because I had a scroll. I mean, pages of
Okay.
things.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a tiny little kitchen.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
super, super tiny. And you just can't make everything. And so I had to choose,
The best of the best.
I had to choose the
Yeah.
staple items. Yeah. So the hardest thing was just to choose what to put on an opening menu, like
When you had that tasting, you had one or no? You just knew, like you never.
She just
had
went
like
for it, man.
You
I just went for it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we were cooking all together and everybody was eating as we were working out the kitchen and stuff. But
Yeah.
I didn't do like a tasting or
Okay.
anything. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've done lots of tastings in the past for other people, but that's like usually when you're trying to get money from somebody.
Okay. No. I'm
Yeah, I know
curious
what you're
about the
saying.
game.
But this
yeah.
was like, I do a tasting for myself. I mean,
Yeah.
we were eating stuff as we were going along,
Right.
see for plating and to see how we wanted to set up the kitchen, make sure
Yeah.
the recipes were correct and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
and the night before, the day before we did the Friends and Family Day, which in my head is the opening day. I went, oh shit, I don't have any like bread and cheese dish. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I totally slept on this idea. So the day before, I added the baked ricotta to the menu,
which is
like
banging.
nothing sells more than that, except
It's
maybe the
so
carbonara.
banging.
So it's just
Yeah,
funny because it's also like you're like, oh yeah, bread and cheese. Like
Yeah.
The bread's so
It's-
good there too. Bread's so important in Italian restaurant. It's
My
so
God,
important, man.
no joke.
I usually
yeah.
get full before I even get my food eating bread. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At restaurants like that,
No,
the bread's
that-
super important, right?
yeah, bread is really important,
And
and
gluten-free bread's
also
coming.
that's one of those things too that I feel is lacking in Los Angeles.
Definitely. In America, bread is.
The bread is
it's
not
difficult
good.
to find
Yeah.
good bread.
Yeah, Europe's got great
Yeah,
bread.
I was
Yeah.
just like in Paris, and
But
just
New
like-
York has great bread.
Yeah, you got to go to special type spots.
But you get spoiled. So when
Yeah.
you move, when you're coming from a place that has all this amazing stuff, and then you get here and you're
agree.
like, oh, you don't know how to make bread here. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. What
You
else am
don't.
I going to miss out on? Oh, there's
really
there's
miss that.
no Chinese food anywhere in the city. Okay, got
Where's
it.
your go-to for that? I'm curious.
Nowhere. Where?
Because Kung Pao Bistro by Whole Foods on Santa Monica in Fairfax, they have a vegan menu. We
Yeah.
usually go there every Christmas Eve.
I know
I-
my boyfriend gets stuff from there sometimes, but it's
There's
like,
a whole menu for it. Yeah.
but that's like,
I know what you're
I
saying.
get-
East Coast is way different. Yeah.
yeah, like I like Chinese food, not
Yeah, like broccoli, tofu, bean curd, whatever, rice. Stuff like
yeah,
that.
but not like everything is deep fried and breaded and
Yeah, me either. Yeah, I know
yeah,
what you're
which is
saying.
I think kind of how it is there for the most part.
I'm old school, so I just get like steamed broccoli with brown garlic sauce and broccoli and brown rice or whatever. I'm pretty basic from back then when I had to have that before there was meat options.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? Before
Yeah.
they had fake meat.
Have you ever been to China?
I have never been to China.
Because I can tell you the food is very different.
I bet. Yeah.
mean,
I think
very-
I would be afraid to go to China and find out just how different it is.
Traveling too, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I've been to Thailand, totally different, obviously, but
Yeah.
I ate the fuck out of some Thai food. I ate so much when I
Yeah.
was in Thailand.
Me
I was there
too.
for a long time, a couple months.
Oh, wow.
And I ate I couldn't stop eating.
What were you
It
doing
was
there?
Just one of my cousins, a very close cousin, married a Thai woman.
Okay.
And he went there to meet her family after they got married, and he never came back. So they were calling me from Thailand saying like, you got to come visit. It's so sick here. And so I did. So
Wow.
I just went to visit them.
I've never been there. That's
I was
awesome.
only going to
Crazy
be there
food.
for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I stayed for like 3 months
Wow.
because
Yeah.
it was that good.
That's like you coming to LA for your man, never came back.
yeah.
Okay, so what's like a day in the life for you as far as the three everything you got going on? How busy are you? Like, what is it?
It's bizarre. It's a
You're so
lot
hands-on.
of communication.
Okay.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is a lot of communication.
And
It's
trust
just
in others.
a lot of trust in others, which is something that I did struggle with
Right.
for some years of my life. In general,
Yeah.
but I have, the most amazing partners and crew. I know it sounds so cheesy, but like there's no way I could ever successfully make these restaurants happen without Nadia,
Yeah.
without Serafine. I mean, there's just no way I could never do it without the two of them. Marco in Redondo, he runs that ship. Like, there's
It's awesome.
I can't do it without them. It's not possible.
Yeah.
I always liked the staff that you had. They were always super sweet and caring and fantastic.
Yeah, there's one girl I always see that I know her face for a long time. Like, obviously, only been 3 years there, but you know what I mean? The
Well, a
staff
lot
doesn't
of the
change them.
staff came with me.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So,
That's
And that
what
says a lot about
Right.
you, too, though.
Right.
So we've been together for like almost 9, like over 9 years. A lot of us.
Yeah. Okay.
All people
that
from
makes
RFD
Front,
too, you mean?
front and back.
Okay, I
Right.
got you.
Yeah.
That totally makes
But
sense.
that says a lot about you, too, in your person. You know what I mean?
I mean, I was planning this for a long time. I said to Serafine, he's
Starting the troops.
I would tell him all the time, one day I'm going to leave and I'm going to do this thing. Are you in or you're out? And he would always be like, you just tell me when and where. I'm going to be right next to you. I'm in this. I'm in
That's
this with you. I'm with
amazing.
you. I'm with you.
That's awesome.
And he meant it because he's still with
Right.
me every single day and he makes that shit happen. So
Yeah. You seem like a very optimistic person.
I think so.
Because that's one of my
I have
questions.
I have my moments, but
Yeah. But through everything, especially the pandemic, just everything, it's like you've always been focused on that, having your own spot. And it happened.
I mean, I think that it's really important to recognize what life provides you.
Yeah.
And it's not the same for everybody. And maybe other people don't have as many things to be grateful for as I do. So, and that's a totally difficult, different outlook.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I have thousands of things to be thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been surrounded by, I have an amazing family. I have amazing friends, partners. I can cook. Okay,
Yeah.
I think. And people are coming and they are
Yeah.
really enjoying themselves and they vocalize that. And that, I mean, there's just so much to be happy about, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, listen, everybody has their weird shit, and you know, but you can't just like put all your focus on that, because the more focus you put on that, then the more darkness you'll find, you know. If you just keep focusing your attentions on the bad things, then the darkness will find you all the time.
I agree.
You know,
Right.
you have to pay attention and handle the darkness, but you also got to, you know, push it aside from time to time and just.
No, I see that in you. Just your whole
forward.
journey, your focus. You know. You know what I mean? You have any regrets?
Regrets?
Yeah.
No.
I knew that was gonna be the answer. I can just tell. I don't know why. I just knew it was gonna be the answer. I can tell people are gonna say, "Nah, I'm
Why
good."
you asking?
No, so I always like to ask that question though.
I've had some pretty shitty circumstances happen, or that I allowed to happen. When I think back to those, you know, situations, I realize now, wow, what a fucking idiot I was to allow that to happen.
Live and
to
you
me.
learn, yeah.
But I don't regret having them happened at all, because those were enormous life lessons, huge life lessons that will never happen again.
Yeah.
And but it had to happen. Those things have to happen. You have to get hit sometimes to know how to get back up and move forward. You know, it's like,
I love that.
It's all part of the journey. And if those things didn't happen, then I would be different right now, and maybe I wouldn't be successful. Mm-hmm. You know,
your parents must be super proud.
My parents are the cutest. Yeah.
I'm sure they've been out to the restaurant.
Yeah, they come almost every Sunday, Pasta Sunday.
Wow.
Good morning.
Oh, so they live out here. They live out here now.
Yeah, I moved them out here.
Oh, wow.
Years ago.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were they reluctant, or were they like?
That's fucking amazing. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You're like, this is better than Long Island.
They
I
still
guarantee.
feel a little like,
Oh, I'm sure.
you know,
How long have you been here for?
like 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So they don't love it, but they're here with me.
Are they retired? They're
From
just
a
chilling.
different generation.
They're
Retired. They're chilling, right?
My dad's 80,
Okay.
and you know,
Do they live close to you?
they live in Long Beach.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but they come up all the time, and
Sunday supper.
Sunday Pasta Sunday. My
You
whole
were
life,
having
it
that
was
your
always
whole
pasta.
life, right?
My whole entire
That's
life.
fucking so cool, man.
So
That
in
is
order to
cool.
continue having Pasta Sunday, they
think
had
I
to live here.
Was there like on a Sunday? Was like your family? Like it was. We're there on a Sunday.
Yeah, they
Taking
come
it.
mostly
Yeah.
every Sunday.
That's so cool. They're out here.
Yeah, yeah.
And your
Did I
brother-
introduce you to them or no?
I don't think so. I think I just remember.
Oh, my mom would
it's-
love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she would.
And I'm sorry. I just wanted to go on.
Oh, so is your brother back east?
My brother is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody else is still back there, but
Okay.
And do your parents eat more vegan because of you or anything, or no?
they definitely eat more vegan because of me, but they're definitely not vegan by any means.
My mom too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Setting her ways.
I mean, I think
Set
they're a
those
little
ways.
healthier because, you know, she started reading labels and doing all that stuff a million years ago.
Yeah, inspired by you. Yeah.
You know, and my mom doesn't eat red meat, so therefore my father doesn't eat red meat.
Okay.
And
It's awesome.
you know, they don't really. They used to like, so Sunday dinner used to be like, they used to make meat sauce,
Right.
you know, or as they called it, gravy.
Gravy.
Yeah, that's
I
old
got
school.
when I moved to Italy, they schooled me.
Okay.
Whoa.
So I actually changed words that I used growing up. It was always
course.
gravy. And
Yeah.
as a New York Italian, there are certain ways you refer to things
Wow.
that are wrong according
Right.
to
And
Italian.
is it true you
Yeah.
shouldn't cut the pasta? Like that's tradition.
You should
shouldn't cut it?
never cut your
do
pasta.
that.
Oh
You
my
nuts, man?
God.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, all right. But that's disrespect, like to cut it.
Yeah, you can't be cutting
Okay,
my
I'm just
pasta
asking.
up. Come on now.
Because when my wife went to Rome in the 80s, my wife did that at a friend's house in Rome. Italian family made her dinner.
Right.
And then my wife cut, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
It's like blasphemy. Yeah.
It's just destroying everything you made, right? It's just disrespect.
I went there before, and there was somebody who's like, can I get some butter for this bread? And they were like,
Butter.
butter?
Really?
They're like, they're like butter, and they're like, for what?
Yeah.
And they're like, forget it.
I know.
I'm just gonna eat this bread.
I
They're
know.
just
It's
like
people
looking at-
ask for butter or ketchup.
Yeah.
In my
Ooh.
restaurant, and like now it's funny because I know how I sound when I hear my servers go, "We will never have ketchup."
God damn it. So
I'm like, oh, that just came out of my mouth through that person's mouth.
absolutely. Thank
So gravy was a thing for sauce. Wow, okay. I remember
Gravy.
No,
hearing
in
it
New
before.
York, yeah.
New York, yeah.
Yeah.
Put the gravy on there.
But they used to make meat sauce every Sunday, and then
Right.
they stopped doing that because she would have to make meat sauce and marinara sauce.
Right.
So she stopped doing that, and she started only making meat sauce and meatballs and that kind of stuff on like holidays or special occasions. So it really, I like accidentally changed, and my brother's still pissed at me for it.
I'm sure he is.
Really?
I can imagine like you and your plant-based ways.
I know.
Cursed Christmas and all the
He
holidays.
was like, my fucking sister over here eating a piece of celery, and we all got to suffer.
My mom. Oh, that's fucking amazing.
3 questions. What
Only
dish? Yeah. What? No. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's more, but
What dish? What?
what dish does your mom prepare that's now plant-based that's your favorite?
That's a great
Is there a
question.
dish that exists like that? That's like, my mom has always made this, but now she made it for me especially. It's plant-based or something she veganized.
Veganized.
Oh, man.
Never heard that word. Veganized.
Veganized.
I use it a lot. It's
pretty sick.
Thank you.
I mean, this is a boring answer, but
No, okay.
my and especially since I now own a restaurant that's based on pasta,
Right.
but my mom's pasta on Sunday, like her sauce is different from my sauce. I don't know how,
Wow.
because I copied everything she's ever done.
Right.
But
It's like a,
but it just tastes different when somebody else makes
it's
it.
a marinara.
And yeah, and man, there is just something about sitting down to eat her sauce that's like next level for
Special
me.
too.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
some love
it's
for
very
it, too.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because parents
You-
love feeding their kids.
And
Yeah.
you never could duplicate it, huh? You can never made it.
It's just different. I mean, my sauce is great, but hers is different and
Okay.
it's better. I
All
mean,
right.
for me, it's better.
Does she know you feel that way?
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
You gotta bring some of that sauce in the plate.
Because she's like, she'll be like, "You want me to bring sauce? Don't you want to eat something else?" And I'm like, "No,
I get it.
no, I don't want to
That's
eat
so
anything
cool.
else."
Yeah. Okay. So the next question: what are the top 3 dishes that are selling at your place now? The top 3 that are just like people can't get enough of. 'Cause I want to try.
The baked ricotta, which you've had.
Yeah, you
Yes.
had that.
Heard that.
The carbonara.
I mentioned,
Carbonara.
my wife's favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, and man, I would have to like actually do some
Is it
research.
that panzini?
to
Didn't you have
know-
that sandwich? There's that limited time only. The eggplant. What's
Oh, panozzo.
panozzo.
Yeah, but the
Panozzo.
eggplant is seasonal, but the panozzo is always on the menu with the
God
meatballs
Damn, that sandwich is.
or the caprese panozzo, which is bomb.
That's what it is. My
The
God.
mushroom meatballs.
That is so hearty. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is the only meal I need today.
Yeah,
For the
so
rest of the
people
day.
don't realize
It's-
what that is. A lot of times people order it, and when they get it, they're like, "Oh, what
Holy-
is this?" Because they
Right.
don't realize what it is. It's basically, it's an entire pizza. So it's it's a pizza. It's
Okay.
the same amount of dough.
Okay.
We shape it differently, bake it in the pizza oven, cut it in half, and make a sandwich. So it's basically when you eat that, it's a whole pizza.
It's off the hook.
So how big is it then?
It's gigantic.
It's-
It's like a
Split it, yeah.
It's like a
Yo,
small baby.
We have to split it.
Okay.
It blew. A lot of people I know don't like eggplant.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, the consistency, I don't know. And
Yeah,
it's
I'm
really
one of
weird
them.
thing to cook too. You get the bitterness.
I don't like
learned
eggplant.
this.
It's hard for me to eat eggplant.
Me
I
too.
don't know why.
I don't
Me
like
too.
eggplant,
Yeah.
but that's
But that one there, the person that was the server, the waiter, was like, "Yo," he's like, "I don't like eggplant either, but this I can fuck with." And I was like, "I hear you. I love eggplant, but
You
this
love it, huh?
it's one of my favorite things on there." I'm just like, "Holy shit, keep me away!" But I need to go there with somebody. I can't go there by myself and just go, throw down.
yeah.
I'll go have it with you.
It's a lot of
Thank you.
food.
We have to have it
Thank
in
you.
Redondo. We should go Redondo
Yes,
next.
I've been dying to go to the Redondo.
Redondo.
And God, I forgot the other.
And a
question.
panozzo is not something that anybody that's not from Naples would know what it is. That's
right.
that's a food that comes from Napoli. It's a street food that
Ooh.
only people from that city know what it is. Like if
Wow.
you
So
ask,
good.
like for example, my social media manager is from Rome. She was like, "What is this
Oh, she's from Rome.
panuozzo? Like what is this? What is this thing?" And everything she says sounds so cute with her accent, but. She, I mean, it's 2 hours away. She never heard of it.
Right.
That's
You know what I mean?
crazy.
So it's just very particular to that city.
Do you think people called pasta sauce in Jersey? They called it.
Gravy.
They call it in Jersey too. Wow,
It's gravy.
Okay. East
Yeah.
Coast is an East Coast thing. Okay.
Yeah. There's a really funny Instagram page. Geez, not that I want to like plug them or anything, but
You just did. Go ahead.
it's called Growing Up Italian.
Oh, okay.
And they do this funny bit where it's like it's where the one girl is from Italy and the other guy is like Italian, but
American.
is from Jersey.
Yeah.
Right.
And they do like the pronunciation differences, the word
Ooh.
differences, and it's
Radically.
hilarious.
I bet
Okay.
it is because they're radically different.
I mean,
Because I realized that
Yeah.
when I went to Italy, I was like, this.
Not
and they,
so
and they were
different.
just like, yeah.
yeah, no.
I was like, I get it now. It's like, you guys are completely different worlds.
yeah. Yes.
Oh, I mean,
And I understand where it comes from, because most of the people, like my family, who moved from Italy to, say, New York,
right,
moved from southern Italy,
right.
where it was like peasant, it was poor, and less education,
Yep.
and different dialects.
True.
So they weren't speaking true Italian; they were speaking the dialect of the region. So Napolitan dialect or Calabrese dialect changes words. So, for example, like this is the easiest example. So, like my family says galamad,
Okay.
not calamari, because they're from the South and they change their C's into G's and they cut the ends off of every word. So
Interesting.
calamari becomes galamad. Now,
Wow.
if you go to Calabria, they say it more similarly to that than they do to the real Italian pronunciation. But when you go to Italy, most people don't go to Calabria. And so that's not Italian.
Right.
Wow.
You know, it's just, it doesn't make any sense to anybody.
Interesting.
It's very interesting because I know in Sao Paulo there's a large, in Brazil in general, there's a large Italian, a lot of immigrants from Italy
Yeah.
that came to Brazil. And so there were so many in Sao Paulo, in fact, that it changed the dialect of the language in a way where
Oh, wow.
it's very different from Rio, where it has more of a Portuguese accent sound to it. But in Sao Paulo, it's because of all the Italian immigrants that came there. It changed the dialect a little bit different in Sao Paulo. It's saying like two. It's like Deutsch in Rio.
Deutsch.
And Deutsch in Sao Paulo. And there's a lot of people I know from being on tour with the guys in the band. They can really understand Italian. Now I can too, from reading and just
Yeah.
speaking. But it's really interesting that there's so many. Like I look at the last names in Brazil, a lot of them are Italian last names, and it's just crazy how the language changed there because of that.
That's cool. Brazil's such a cool place.
It is,
melting
man.
pot of so many different cultures.
That's incredible. I
Yeah.
miss it, actually.
Yes,
I've never been there. I'm dying to go there, but like
you'll love it.
You'd love it.
everybody there is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
Colombia
think
too.
I think it's in the
Colombia's
water.
it's
or
just
something. I don't know.
just like crazy. I think
Yeah.
it's because
Everything.
there's so many cultures coming together, and
True.
and you know
That's a good point.
all the people are mixed
Yeah.
culturally, and I think that always makes beautiful people.
Yeah,
True.
I agree.
Nah,
But man,
definitely.
South America's beautiful people.
all
for
the
sure.
Brazilians I know are just
Brazil,
Yeah.
Shout out to Brazil, Zil.
yeah.
I want you to see House of Gucci and report back
Battles.
to me.
I will
Oh,
give
yeah.
you a full report. I will.
I'm really curious what you think about House of Gucci.
I mean, I heard it was not great,
Oh, okay.
but I'm still
on
gonna see it.
like a real Italian standpoint, you mean? How it was represented?
No.
Or
I just heard it was
okay.
not a great film. I don't
Yeah.
know. I heard the acting was bad and the storyline. I think
it's
you
so
know what it is.
crazy.
To
Is
be
it
fair,
a movie or is
It's
it
a movie. And I thought
Okay.
I thought everybody killed it. I couldn't believe the reviews. I was
Okay, I'm
shocked.
gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna check it out. For
Jared
myself.
Leto's incredible. Fucking Gaga's incredible. Pacino's incredible.
I mean, how can you not like Pacino?
Pacino, wow.
You know,
I heard a great. So a friend of mine's from Rome, and they flew out here for the premiere, and we took him hang out that night. We took him to see Angel Dust, and they told me that at the end of that movie, after like 7 months, Al Pacino had envelopes of cash for everybody that worked on the movie, not the
Oh, you
actors.
told
Obviously,
me this,
give
yeah.
everybody envelopes of money. It's so fucking cool, man.
It's nice. It's really
So
nice.
I mean,
Cool,
he's
right?
old school. You
He's
know,
old
school.
yeah.
You
I
got
mean-
some envelopes growing up of money? Probably?
I got envelopes.
I knew she did.
I
dude.
definitely got envelopes.
Wow.
So, hilarious.
Okay, now I want to just real quick on Italian shit. Sopranos. You like Sopranos? Was that great for you?
I didn't. I never watched
I asked
all
for
of it.
Italians. Okay,
I watched
okay.
some of it. I haven't had cable
Okay.
since.
Damn, she said cable.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Well, I mean that.
Right there.
That was before
there.
it was an app. It was on cable.
Oh, so you haven't- you
HBO
haven't
was on
TV in a long
cable, so
time?
I didn't have it. And
Okay.
And the only reason why I watched any of it was because I got hit by a car while The Sopranos was on, and I had to stay at my parents' house because my boyfriend was on tour, and we lived upstairs.
In the casualties?
And I didn't have anybody to help me because I was on crutches.
How
so.
bad hurt? How bad did you get hurt?
I mean, it was really fucked up, but like, I'm fine.
Fuck,
yeah.
But
so I had to stay at my parents for a couple of weeks because I couldn't maneuver around, and so
dang,
I watched The Sopranos because that's what they were watching.
Right.
But I need to go back and now that it's an app, I need to go back and like watch it from the beginning to the end.
I did again during the pandemic. My family all seasons. It was just
it,
wonderful the second time around.
James Gandolfini was like I went to my cousin's wedding and I was like, Ma, is that James Gandolfini? She's like, oh yeah, he's married to.
Is that what the wedding?
Who the hell knows? I don't know.
That's fucking sick.
I have one of those families that like you go to a wedding, there's like 300 people, and you're like, who are any of these people?
Yeah.
Like I have no idea who any of.
Wow.
And we all have the same last name. I don't know how it happens.
Wow.
It's bizarre.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Any more questions for this wonderful lady?
I had a third question. I forgot it, but it's okay.
I appreciate your journey. I appreciate how you got here and you being in LA and your story and your journey and your positivity and coming from the East Coast. It's awesome.
Thank
so
you.
awesome, man.
I'm so honored to have been invited here. And
no, I'm psyched. Stella loves you.
Stella's the cutest. I love her.
But you're our first official vegan chef,
restaurant
owner.
Yeah.
Well, I'm honored because, to be 100% transparent, in my heart, I'm a musician.
Yeah.
Let's get it, girl. What do you want to play?
I can't sing to save my life, and I never learned how to play an instrument well enough to play it in front of you. And and so I cook instead. But my real inside my body music is in there. Like it's just so important to me. It's part of every experience that you have in life. It's part of every memory.
I agree.
It's attached to everything. So it's like it's an honor to be invited to a podcast that's based on music, bringing people together. That's very cool.
And food brings people together.
Absolutely.
And food.
It's a great
food and music are a very good combination.
Did you sing around the house growing up?
I didn't want to hurt anybody.
Okay. Sing in the shower.
And some music you have that.
I'm too kind and thoughtful to sing in front of anybody.
So it's important to have that music, of course, while you're cooking, though.
Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't say it out loud. Somebody will steal my idea. But
well, she likes metal too. It gets her hyped and inspired too.
Yes.
Well, actually, I'm stealing the idea, so I can say it out loud.
Okay.
Say it, girl.
And I'll give credit to the person who I'm stealing it from.
Okay. All right.
I had this little book. It was like a little zine from back in the day called "Don't Feed the Bears."
Okay.
And it was a vegan cookbook, but it was just like a little punk rock zine kind of thing.
Cool.
And part of the recipes were the music you were supposed to be, the album you were supposed to be listening to while you were making
that's
the recipe.
Cool. A soundtrack, yeah.
And so I'm 1,000% stealing that when I do my cookbook because I think that that's a really important part of.
I love that.
Everything that I make is the music that you're listening to while you're making it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That would be fun because I love that aspect of hearing music and cooking goes so well. I love it.
Music is such a motivator. It's such a mood setter, and it's like it can bring you out of really dark times
100%
and
save lives.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
One of my wife's main pet peeves about being married to me for 26 years is that I'm a terrible cook. True. I've tried. I just did Maggie's live 3 times trying to cook on her live where they're doing like tofu scramble and stuff. I'm like, I really got to step it up and make my wife something.
I can help you. You know, just basic stuff.
I know I'm a terrible. And all she wants to come home one day and have something nice on the table that's not a busted ass pasta, fucking toast or whatever I tried to make for her. Like even I
you
know
fuck
I'm
up toast.
Well, I know, man.
And so my confidence is smashed by my son who just teases me the whole time.
That's true.
Like last time I tried to cook for my wife, like it's like smoking in the kitchen. And like, I just really feel like that would really.
He's not supportive of all, when it comes to that.
He's a ball breaker, but
but that's his job.
I know, but my wife I'm like the perfect husband. I want to go on record saying that.
Wow.
I am. Besides the fact that I just can't cook and have barely tried, and people have offered to me to try, I really need to step that part of my life up.
Well, you should try, with the goal of just making it fun.
Yeah.
Don't put so much pressure on it. It's just cooking,
Yeah.
It's just
There you
pasta.
go.
But it's gonna be
Like,
edible
just-
too, though. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Maybe
But
you could
start
with
really
some
simple.
Maybe she likes sweets. Maybe something sweet.
Okay.
Like something romantic.
But baking is definitely more complicated than cooking
Thanks,
a bowl
Derrick.
of pasta.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was gonna start him off on a simple like blueberry.
Like,
I
want-
know
I
your
wa-
wife likes blueberries.
You're like,
so
maybe you should start
like
tempering chocolate.
No, I don't know what that means. The last thing,
Whoa, use those words. Come on.
the last thing I did was tofu scramble, and I think that was the most
Oh my
best thing
God.
I've ever made because I did it with Maggie and her live, and
It's
we
pretty
made it. We
simple.
cut the. It was
Yeah.
easy.
I watched.
Turmeric and nutrition yeast is a big part of that shit.
And black salt.
Black
Black
salt that I
salt.
He
spilled.
spilled it
I
all
spilled it on
over
my
his
kitchen floor. I
oven.
spilled like eggs in here. And
Oh
shit.
God, yeah.
It's
You don't want to
fucking
spill
disgusting.
You don't
black
wanna spill
salt.
that.
No. Which
maybe-
Maggie are we talking about?
Maggie Bard.
Oh, Maggie.
Yeah.
I love her.
She's the best.
I love her.
Best, man.
Yeah. She's amazing.
So
thank
yeah,
God,
maybe
thank God for people like that.
Yeah.
support and feed all
Oh
the
my
cool
God.
stuff she did.
For so many
amazing.
reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a amazing fucking human, amazing family. So maybe you can give me some lessons sometime.
Okay.
I'm asking you on record right here. Something will be easy.
Something
Yeah.
for him.
Maybe like a really good pasta. Maybe the one she likes. That's probably hard though, huh?
The
Carbonara.
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 It's one of the more complicated
Okay.
ones, but
maybe some basic shit. With
I
you.
think it's good when you really don't know how to do something to start basic.
Yeah.
To start simple.
I know you have a lot of time
and
on your
then-
hands to teach me.
When you, but like for example, if you wanted to make like the pomodoro for as just as an
Okay.
example, like it's really very easy to make. You just
Okay.
have to kind of have some patience and
That's key, patience.
but not too much because baking is really where you have to have patience.
Okay.
Which is why I'm not an excellent baker.
I love to bake.
Do you
I do.
really?
I'm learning a lot.
What do you
from it.
bake?
I was just saying, like this blueberry pound cake was like really, really simple, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome! It's quick." I really want to get into like the leveled like cakes I've seen, and the frosting is like kind of cool to mess around with. I started messing around with the frosting.
This is some new shit that started during the pandemic. I want to say since I met you,
yeah.
like really going hard on cooking.
I really stepped into it. But
Amazing lentil soup.
yeah, I
amazing
love
lentil
soups,
soup.
and that
I
was
love
something.
soup,
And I was
too.
like, "Why aren't there good plant-based soups in L.A.?" Like,
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
my fiance got me into soup. She's
Soup
from,
is my favorite thing to eat.
That's
I
me
love
too.
it.
Yeah.
And I was so neglecting it, but when I
I
met
would
my
have soup
fiance, it was
every
amazing.
day. I would have it in
Yeah,
the
me too.
restaurant, but nobody buys it.
Oh, it's so weird, right?
So I
That's-
try to do it as a special or whatever, but like nobody wants soup. I mean, I want to eat soup all the time, but
too.
it's not something that sells a lot. So
I love this overpriced. You're probably gonna say you can make it better. This mint split pea soup from Ear One. This vegan soup they have. It's fucking amazing.
that
but it's
sounds.
like $20 for like a small thing or
Fuck.
something.
I
I know you
was
can make
just
it.
like, fuck them.
But I love split pea soup. I
Okay,
love
so
it so
that's
much.
a really good example because split pea soup is very easy to make.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yes.
It
Maybe-
shouldn't be $20 for
and
one.
it
of
It
those.
should
Okay.
not be
It shouldn't be
$20.
$20, no.
Jesus Christ,
Okay.
man.
I mean, organic split peas are not the cheapest. Organic anything is more expensive.
Yeah.
If you care about organic stuff,
Yeah.
which is probably why they're charging that much because I think
Okay.
that they have like a pretty set list of ingredients that they
Yeah, I
stick to.
think you're right.
Mhm.
It's healthy.
It's,
Yeah.
it's so much fun though, cook. I mean, I try to get. I'm surprised, like posting stuff like that. There's so many people really interested. People that I wouldn't expect.
When you
know,
post
they're
about
like,
cooking, yeah.
they're like metalheads. They're like, oh, that's keep it going, and
Yeah.
like, you're doing great. And I don't know, it's just such a great way to like free your mind. I think
Free your mind.
exactly.
Rest
You
will
know,
follow.
singing with it along. I find myself singing out loud. Like I do this as a profession, but in my kitchen, things that you wouldn't imagine. Me singing. But
Do you sing your own
it's so much-
songs?
no, absolutely not.
What do you sing?
But I'm gonna have to get back after this pandemic. I started going through the list. I'm like, oh man, I got to remember.
First
these
show in 2
lyrics.
years, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be singing my own stuff.
I can't wait for all the shows that are coming up.
know.
Oh my
There's a lot of
god,
shit
I
coming.
Tell me
can't.
about it. Yeah.
I can't wait. I cannot even tell you. Like
You haven't
I
seen
was
any concerts in 2 years?
the only concert I've been to since COVID was the Nightmare Before Christmas at the Bank of California.
Oh, I heard that was amazing.
It was
Beautiful,
incredible.
Yeah.
That was the only one though. The last concert I went to before the pandemic, one of two. I can't remember which one was last. It was either Bauhaus
What?
That's a great one. Wow.
Wow.
or Mr. Bungle.
Yes.
That's sick.
Yes.
Scott's playing in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott.
Shout out to Mr. Ian. Yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and Dave
Shout out to Mr.
Lombardo.
Pat.
It was
and Lombardo.
awesome.
Shout out to those guys.
It was so awesome.
They're so good.
Dave.
Your accent just came out hard in the word
It was
awesome.
just when you say
now.
awesome. You just have to say it
If
like
you
that.
could have any ability of a musician, what instrument and what would it be?
I think she's
like
a singer, man.
guitar, drums.
I would love to be a singer and a guitar player, but I would fucking love to be a singer. My dad is a singer.
Oh wow,
You got a good voice.
He's got a great voice, and he used to sing professionally, but he gave it up to be with my mom.
Wow,
And
really?
That's sweet, true love right there.
What kind of stuff would he?
he's doo-wop.
Doo-wop.
Of course,
Old
doo-wop,
school.
bro.
That's why
so
you hear all
cool.
the music you hear when you come to Pura Vita.
Oh, wait, what was that,
song
Toby?
from Bronx Tale. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, but that's his jam, and that's what I grew up listening to. With rock and roll, doo-wop, all that kind of stuff.
Whoa, that's
It's
so
fucking
cool.
so
Doo-wop
cool.
is
And he
pretty
like
good.
force fed me facts about these,
Right.
about this music, and just shoved it into my brain. It can't escape. It's in there deep.
Yeah.
Part of your DNA.
But I can't sing. I did not collect that talent.
But that would be your wish.
That
right
would
there.
be, yeah. Two things that I can't do that I wish I could do is singing and gymnastics.
Wow.
I can't do
Gymnastics
gymnastics.
is
There's my deep, dark secret right there.
I can't do gymnastics.
I always talk about gymnastics, and I was like, that's one thing.
I
That's a little bit
wish-
of
do a backflip.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I'm
wish
always
I
like,
could.
I wish I
When
could
I
do
see
that.
people flipping around, I'm like, you are the most beautiful human being
Yeah.
I've ever seen. Like, I
Yeah.
can't. It's like mesmerizing. I don't
It
understand
is.
how anybody does that. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, to have that control over your body. It's
During
Oh
the-
my
yeah, I was
God.
watching it during Olympics too. It was insane.
Yeah, the Olympics. So I don't
love
watch
it.
sports ever. When the Olympics are on, we even purchased the app that was playing the Olympics, like just so that I could watch
Yeah.
everything gymnastics related. Like I
That's
just
cool.
love it. It's
Oh, no, I wish I could do that too, like
Yeah, me
splits or some
too.
shit.
Yeah, I
Backflip.
always wanted to do that. I even went to a class when I was a kid. Made my mom take me.
me too.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
I was horrible.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is not happening.
I don't think it's late for you to start singing or play guitar though. I feel like you could do it if
Yeah.
you focused on it. But
I mean, I
your
could probably
time is
learn how to
limited.
play guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, can you learn how to sing?
I think singing lessons.
Yes, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
but singing is a gift,
Hmm.
and I didn't get that gift.
Yeah.
No, but you can learn.
Neither
you can
do
learn.
we, but we both have our careers.
You can
It's
learn.
working.
No, you guys are both awesome,
Fuck.
and it's like
No, I had to take a lot of lessons.
really.
I took
Yeah.
I took lessons too.
Yeah, I mean, it started with choir. Like had nothing to do with punk rock or anything.
Right.
but
I
it
love
was
that.
Just like to have somebody like that's like encouraging you helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it's a tool. It's our tool, I guess, right? We have to keep it fine tuned and
That's right. Keep it fine tuned.
Yeah. But it's awesome, and to be able to like go on stage and like share that with people who are like looking up at you, as an inspiration. It's just like, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just the coolest thing, That's why music is so amazing, because people, it doesn't matter like where you're from or it doesn't matter anything. Like when you hear music, everyone can get on board.
True.
It's
I
like
agree.
everyone can understand it. Everybody can feel it. If it's a happy song, if it's a slow song, if it's whatever it is, it's like it's emotional no
Yeah.
matter what, and everyone can relate to it.
it's magical.
It is.
But I also think eating, makes people happy too. It brings out really good
Absolutely.
things.
Thank
and people-
goodness.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mind,
That makes
body,
me
and soul.
happy.
I mean, yeah, like if you're eating like shit, you're not really going to perform that well either. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
Derek?
that's very true.
If you're eating shit all day, you have to go on stage, but you know what I
Can't
mean? So
really-
it helps.
That's really true. Yeah.
Yeah.
the mind, body, and soul.
No doubt.
Well, thank you for putting all this wonderful food and your energy into the world.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Really appreciate you being part of our world and our community. And when you opened up here, we were super excited. And
Oh yeah, I remember. Now I remember. Third question.
oh Jesus,
What's the future like? Is there anything you have planned that in the works?
talk
Fresh,
about?
something out of the box, something crazy coming up.
She might have something,
I
man.
know.
Did you can't say or
I want to
can't say?
do the impossible. I want to open a bagel store in LA. No, I don't
Oh
know.
my
No,
God,
I'm kidding.
Remember bagels
I mean,
on
I'm
the
not
square?
kidding.
Bagels on the square. Bagels on the square in New York.
Like, do it, pizza
Yo,
bagel.
you remember bagels on the square in
Yeah,
6th
yes.
Avenue, the vegan options in the 90s? Dude, bomb.
My God.
You want to open a bagel spot?
I
bro?
mean, no. I mean, yeah, but no. There's no plans for that.
Is there anyone out there
I'm
that's
being
just
silly.
got a bagel spot open?
Have you reached
Universe, we're putting it out there.
you reached all your goals with food right now?
No, of course
Okay.
not. No, I definitely want to do a really beautiful book.
Okay,
That'd be sick.
There we
I
go.
want to do like a really beautiful art book, like a cookbook, but I want it to be like a beautiful book
You gotta
that
do the
you like
photos of
want to
the-
keep
of the
on the
book, of
table.
course.
Yeah, because
right.
you graduate from art
Yeah,
school,
so like incredible photography. Like I
Mhm.
said, I want to include music as part of the recipe. I want it to be like not your typical, where you're just going to read the recipe and try to
yeah,
copy it. It's like I want it to be
visually stunning.
visually, yeah, I want it to be.
Stimulating.
And I have no
Yes.
idea how to even start that.
Mm-hmm.
That's like really the next thing I want to do, and
That's
I don't
cool.
even know where to begin, even
Mhm.
a little bit. I just worked on a book. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Am I allowed to say it?
You take it off if you want, whatever you want.
Yeah, we can.
So my friend John just released his film. It's called They're Trying to Kill Us.
That's my friend
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
man,
yeah,
badass vegan.
come on.
Yeah.
John Lewis, man.
Oh, I didn't know that you
Lewis.
guys.
Ooh.
So
It's
he's
incredible.
he's-
I've been pushing the shit out of it too, man.
Oh, good. Okay, so
Right.
he's a very close friend of mine, and he's putting out a cookbook.
Yes, he is.
And
He said on the podcast here.
Mhm.
oh, he did.
Yeah.
A while ago. Yeah,
And so,
you're part of that.
yeah. So
Cool, awesome.
that's the part I wasn't know if I was allowed to say, but
No, it's amazing. Yeah,
but so that was my first time working on a cookbook,
awesome.
and understanding the details that go into
The wording or
the recipes
Yeah.
and how it has to be. Yeah, and like. So it's very different because when you're cooking in a restaurant, you're making food for
oh yeah, a lot of people.
a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Right, right.
And then when you're writing a recipe for a book, it has to be for like 4 people.
Right.
And I don't know how to do that.
Mhm.
I mean, I literally don't know how to do that because even growing up the way we cooked for
Big
20
family.
people
Yeah.
minimum, you know? So I don't know how to make a recipe for 4 people. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's like this tiny little amount of food. Like who's,
Right.
you know? So that was also a learning experience. But that was good because that made me understand how
Yeah.
I have to do that part of it for myself when the time comes. But getting it started is like, I don't even know who I call. Who do I call?
Yeah.
Is anybody out there listening? Who do I call?
Yes, hit her
I
up,
want to do a
please.
book.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be hard on.
I mean, are the recipes from his book his recipes? No, he doesn't.
No, they're mine. Am I allowed to say that?
yeah.
They're
Yeah,
ours.
they're ours, yeah.
They're
got it,
ours.
got it.
Yes.
Okay.
He told us all about the pod was coming, all that stuff. Yeah. Shout out
Yeah.
to John Lewis and They're Trying to Kill Us, an amazing documentary. You can rent it on their website and they have it for 5 years. I'm not sure if that's still an option, but super DIY, did it himself. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, he worked so
Beautiful.
hard on that for so many
He did.
years.
Right.
And he's another one that like he means it, man, with every fiber of his being.
100%.
He means it, and it comes through in everything that he
Yes.
does because he's such a real person, and he's
Right.
also such a
Sweetheart.
Oh my god.
He's got an amazing smile, too.
Oh my god, he's like
The best.
one of my favorite people. Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw him here a couple weeks ago randomly. It was nice. He was
Yeah.
already doing like the whole press for his.
Oh my god, I just thought of something, and I don't know why I didn't even realize that you know him because you it's so funny how your brain just like compartmentalizes things. So that day that I got you into the pizzeria because
Yeah.
it was booked, he texted me and he was like, "Hey, Toby reached out to me because he's trying to get your phone number, but I won't give it to him unless you tell me it's okay." And I wrote back like, "That's how I know you're my real friend."
That's amazing.
Right.
You know, like, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, your own mother could call me up and ask me for your phone number," and I'd be like, "Let me ask her first."
But you know what's funny about that? I got your number somehow before he even hit me back.
I gave it to you because I saw your thing on Instagram.
That's right.
Which is what made it funny, but it was just like
He should
yeah.
hit you up directly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
So-
cute. He had your
That's
back.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, so
I respect that,
didn't
John,
realize,
protecting your friend.
I know. I
Yeah,
didn't realize that you
yes.
guys were connected actually
Yeah.
until then. I was like, that's
Yeah.
funny that Toby is
Small
calling
world.
John to ask for my number.
Yeah.
It's just like he's
And I
on the
just
other
DM'd
side
you.
of the country and you're like a few blocks away.
No, I know, but I think I DM'd you or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Small
bad at
world,
the
though.
Instagram stuff.
You're bad.
I'm just bad at reading messages and stuff. Like I'll get to them, but it's
I'm
like
glad you read mine.
Yeah.
You're here.
yeah.
Great convo. Anything else, Derek?
That's it. Those are all my questions.
I know. I feel like I
For
talked to you.
now.
I can talk to you guys all day.
I know, man. we plugged everything your whole life. They can find your restaurant on social media everywhere, right? Pura Vita's everywhere. Website,
PuraVitaLosAngeles.com.
Instagram, pizzeria, and that's same as the pizzeria one too.
It's all one website, yeah.
Yeah.
Pura Vita in West Hollywood, Pura Vita Pizzeria right next door in West Hollywood, and Pura Vita Redondo, which is in Redondo.
And I think it's important, especially people listening who do live in the area or are vegans or are part. everybody's struggling during the pandemic. It's nice to support restaurants and post about them, that people know what they have
definitely
there.
Local spots, if they're around you, and if not, at least order the food, online and stuff like that.
Yeah,
is really
support,
cool.
post all that stuff.
That's super important.
Every time we're about to eat, we always take pictures of our food and shit.
Take a lot of photos, spread the word.
Yeah.
People are super curious.
It really makes a big difference, though, because
It does.
people
Yeah.
are listening,
Right.
They are.
I mean, especially you guys, like you have a lot of people who, are paying attention to everything that you're doing. So when you guys post something, it makes a big difference, or even when you just talk about something, it's like
Yeah.
people are listening to you. So thank you, because it really
course.
does.
No, thank you.
It makes all the difference.
Thanks for making us.
The support.
Of course.
Zeppoli.
Zeppoli.
I'm so
I
hungry
should have
right
brought
now.
you food. What was I
Literally,
thinking?
we're gonna eat it now, man. That's always the main thing. After the pod, where we're gonna go? Are you going to the spot now? Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I know you're super busy, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I love it. I'm so
Thanks
glad.
for being our first.
I'm so glad. I love being the first.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Thank you.
Hey, guys. Thanks for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to this podcast, please do that. And whatever platform you are listening to this on, I'm glad you found me. You can rate me and review me on there also. So thank you guys sincerely for the support. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the next one.